At Apollo Projects, the national company's cold store build contract. All proposals were submitted, but the costs were just too high. So the client chose Apollo to help. We sat down with the client and their consultant and had a think. We challenged them on key points. If we closed up the aisle widths to what was required by the forklifts being used and removed the ceiling to make it the roof, we'd save on materials while lowering the building. With the building now the right height and size, the walls can move away from the boundary, removing the firewall requirement, leading to a 20% reduction in cost and now coming in on budget. Now the building is right-sized, the total cost of ownership is lower, it's safer to build and maintain, and it's on budget. Apollo Projects. No assumptions, better outcomes.
Okay, guys, twice to sell. We've got half to sell, going to sell. Ladies and gentlemen,
this isn't about what we wore back in the day.
We're going to go now. We're going once, we're going twice. No more offers. Sold!
It's about being trusted to get a better result for our clients since 1973.
Māori Active, streaming live at youtube.com/Whakaata Māori. Subscribe now.
Hey. Sport is about more than just a game. It's about going from teammates to best mates. It's the high fives and helping hands. That's why Caltex is proud to help fuel school sports.
Well, howdy mai from the athletic track here at Aorangi Park in Timaru, and it's a lovely morning, Tony Rogers, as we glance across the field and see the hurdles out. Competition underway at 9 o'clock, and we've got a fine day here in Timaru. We had an overnight shower, which I think was a little bit unexpected, but as we can see both into the horizon as we look back into the hills of South Canterbury, that we're in for a day of good track and field, and the weather is delightful.
Yeah, Morena, Kevin, it's a delight to be back here at Aorangi Park, that's for sure, and it's excellent conditions out there at the moment. You can see the teardrop flags are hardly moving about, so great conditions for the athletes, and it's a little on the cooler side, but probably great temperature, and I'm sure it's going to heat up during the day. Yeah, so we've got a great day of action ahead of us, and this morning we'll be having a really focus in on the hurdles first up on the track, and then later in the morning you'll be joined by Keely O'Hagan, as she's an expert in the high jump, which will be one of our feature women's events. The senior girls high jump and the senior boys high jump will be our first focus field events.
And we can see that on the schedule there. The hurdles will be the first of it'll be the senior girls hurdles that we'll be watching very shortly on the track. And then we move into the 100 metre heats, and once again there will be large numbers of athletes going through this early stage. We had the 200 heats yesterday, 100 heats today, and we will probably have 7 and 8 heats on each of those events, and we always find the 100 metres event probably one of the premier events at any championship. The fastest schoolboy, schoolgirl in the country, and you'll see them here on this channel, which is great.
Yes, so they're all set to go here at the Whare Akinakina Aorangi, and the blue track. We remember back that the tracks are all changing colour from these days with what gets laid down. But it's a blue Mondo track here in Aorangi Stadium. So tents are nice and stable today, no winds, so to speak of. So it's great conditions as we look forward in a moment on the track to the senior girls hurdles.
Yes, and just looking at the track has been laid for about 18 months. This is the second all-weather surface that they've placed down here. The first one went down in 2004. We had 2 New Zealand schools championships on the old track, and this is the first time that the blue mondo, which has become the sort of in colour now, hasn't it? No longer the red surface. The blue seems to be the preferred option.
Well, except for the lilac purple, of course, we had Stade de France from Paris, which was pretty cool effect there. But that probably was more in keeping with some of the colours of the World Athletics logo and branding these days. But that looks like they're preparing well for the 10 flights of hurdles over the 100 metres. These young ladies, and in heat 1, it looks like they're getting set to go. We've got Amani Ferry from St Mary's College out of Auckland in lane 2. Juliet McKinley, she took a bronze in the javelin yesterday from Whanganui Collegiate. Meg Edwards, Rangiruru girls from Christchurch in 4. Lauren Barrett Hamilton in 5, and they're underway. And it does look like Juliet McKinley leading out in lane 3, and then coming through in lane 5, I think it is Lauren Barrett Hamilton from Green Bay.
Yep, showing good hurdling style. By the time they get to senior girls, these young women have perfected their hurdling techniques, and so we can anticipate that all of these girls in these preliminaries, only 2 heats, Tony. We would probably hope for more, but we'll settle for finding the straight final from these 2 heats.
So the time there it was Meg Edwards in lane that took that out from Rangiruru in 14.84. So probably getting the lanes there with no one in lane 1, calculating that a little bit in error. So Meg, no, it is Lauren Barrett Hamilton. So looks like it. Times are not, they were definitely not even across the line. So we'll get a bit of a recalculate there, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Yes. Always a commentator's curse, isn't it, really? When you sort of make a call and then glance on the screen and see it's something different. But
the result is, as we called it now, Lauren Barrett Hamilton from Green Bay High out of Auckland, 14.84, ahead of Juliet McKinley, and then Meg Edwards. So that time's being calculated correctly now.
That's right. So the commentators are right. For a brief time, the technology didn't quite feed the results in as we want. So the first 3 will go through automatically, and from the next seat the first 3 also, and then the next 2 fastest. Setting things up, and people milling around, and it's a good social occasion too, Tony, isn't it? Because I've really been bumping into people that I haven't seen for many years, and people from different generations now coming back with their grandchildren who are now competing from when we were around. And I was chatting with Sally Flynn, Sally Meany. She has one of her granddaughters from who will go under the name of Mash.
Yes,
competing in hurdles.
Some fairly
and
good
in fact, she's
pedigree.
Yes, indeed. If we've glanced there now, St Mary's College in Auckland, India Nash in lane 7.
Excellent. We'll keep a close eye on India. So yes, Bernice is definitely one of our star school athletes in the field in particular, but obviously Mum and Dad were long stalwarts of track and field out of Christchurch for many years, which is obviously the grandparents of India.
We saw on the screen there the 7 athletes lined up for this event. Lane 1 is vacant, and as we said before, the first 3 automatically through to the final, and then we go into the calculations for the next fastest 2.
We've got Wilson from Otago Girls in 2, McCarthy Dempsey from St Andrews in 3, Rattray out of Hamilton Girls in 4, Waldron from Geraldine, local athlete here in 5, Lucy Steele from St Paul's Collegiate, India Nash, as we mentioned, St Mary's in 7, and Sophie Brown from Waitaki Girls in 8. So 7 go in this heat. And then looking for the girls that might not finish in the top 3, looking for a time of at least 17.08 or better.
So obviously a little bit of a delay. As they sort of girls retreat from in front of their starting blocks.
Maybe some hurdles checking, getting done, getting the balance right in case a hurdle was knocked in the previous heat, and sure they're all lined up. And you can see in the foreground for our viewers at home that there's quite a bit of activity going on right in the foreground of the screen. There's a very big field contesting the junior girls long jump pools at the moment, so that's due to get underway. So they'll ride. So they'll be jumping side by side on parallel long jump pits and 2 qualifying pools, and before they get the finalists. So we're set to go in the 100 hurdles heat 2 for senior girls.
Checking out the hands are behind the line. Yeah, clean dispatch.
And underway now, second heat of the senior girls 100
Looks out in the centre of the crackers at Tullawaldra from Geraldine, doing quite nicely. And then but that back on the inside in lane 2. Jodie McCarthy-Dempsey is it coming through, and then on her outside would be Azada Rattray. We'll just wait to see if commentators have got close to it on this occasion. Always great to see the cheery responses at the end of a race like that. They're sort of all embracing, shaking hands and acknowledging one another in a really quite warm and I think, encouraging way, isn't it, Tony?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
All right, a rerun of the race there now.
So it looks like yes, Sarah Rattray came through in second there, and so yeah, Jodie McCarthy-Dempsey was 15.26, Zara Rattray 15.30, and there's the result coming on the screen now. And it looks like Jade Wilson will make it through because she was under that time that we were looking at before. So we'll get an update on that. And the hurdles final will be tomorrow in the morning, I think it is. We'll come back to that, but we've no senior boys hurdles heats. They'll go to a straight final, so that's why we won't be featuring them this morning.
Yep, so 10:35 tomorrow morning. Those athletes will once again be lining up to determine who is the New Zealand Schools 100 metre hurdles champion for 2024. It's going to be, I think, quite a tight contest, really, looking at those two heats. All right, so the hurdles being moved to the side of the track. I think I have a lot of admiration for the officials when it's coming to doing the hurdles. On this occasion, they're not having to do adjustments, but quite frequently when the 100 metre hurdles are completed, you go to the 110 metre hurdles, and so they'd have to be moved both forward and up. Getting it technically correct is not onerous, but nonetheless it requires a good high level of precision.
Yeah, that's for sure, and they're not light by the time you shift a full set of hurdles across onto the side with their weights in the bottom there to counterbalance the tipping of the hurdles when they get clipped. So it's a good little bit of morning exercise, and it's great to see the volunteers in their lovely pink shirts helping out with some of the officials to clear the track so we can get on to the next stage of the event. And we were scheduled to follow on there to have junior boys hurdles, but I think, Kevin, that's gone to a straight final because looks like there's must have been a scratching, because it's like down to 8 now because there was 9 listed. That's why we needed 2 heats, but that's gone off our program, so there'll be a bit of a space on the track at the moment.
Yeah, and we can give a glance there, and we can see at the long jump the competitors, they're going to be using 2 pits, I think, for this particular event. The junior girls lining up for their long jump competition. I walked in this morning and looked at the long jump pit. It was a pristine level and everything. I sort of felt I should be planting lettuces in it. But these athletes keenly anticipating it, and a good turnout for long jump. There's something appealing, I think, about the long jump event, and it does draw a wide range of athletic talent.
Certainly does, and some of our officials take great pride in getting that sand in the long jump looking perfectly level to start the competition, and of course, which it's a requirement to do that, but been a lot of time levelling it off, getting it to the right moisture level so that the sand doesn't crumble when the athletes land in it, and then it's easier to do the marking. So yeah, it's very, very rewarding for some of the officials to have the athletes do that.
So the first pool of long jumpers have been acknowledged, and they'll be jumping. One of the groups will be jumping to the north, the other to the south, and I think the southern group is just still waiting to be acknowledged to take their bow before the crowd that sort of gather around the fence when the long jump competition is on. People like to be close and be able to both hear what the distance measured is and just observe closely.
So in the field, as we mentioned, we'll be soon taking a look at the senior boys shot put. That's often referred to as the panga mata in terms of the event. Of course, shot put is a fairly high-profile event in New Zealand, and particularly from this town of Timaru.
Yeah, you're quite right. Tom from Timaru, it was a wee bit of a joke for a little while amongst some of his competitors, but Tom Walsh, who I recall won the shot put at the first time that the New Zealand schools were held here in Timaru back in 2009, I think, was it?
And would you been at Timaru Boys as
I
the
was.
komata then?
I was. It was a privilege, really. I mean, Tom was an exciting and determined athlete, and we recognised, I think, his potential, but probably more than his potential was his real determination and drive to succeed in that event. And he was a talented sportsman. I think he'd been in the first 15 for 3 years. He was a better than average cricketer. In fact, he would like to think that, in fact, when I've chatted to him at various times, probably his aspirations probably in cricket were even greater than athletics early on. And he could bowl quickly and was a very handy batsman as well. So he had to make choices, and that's often the case with talented athletes, that they do have to make choices. And I don't think Tom would mind me sharing the fact that he said, I chose athletics because I could determine my future.
That's not an uncommon thing, and it's one of the things that determined my pathway too. Is when I was playing rugby at university, I was getting on that side of things where selection wasn't always determined by what I felt was your own choice, so to go to the higher honours. But yes, it's a common thing about athletics is that you can determine your own future. And Tom, we've seen him throw a cricket bat around a bit in the Black Clash a couple of times, haven't we? So,
yes, we have.
So
yeah.
we know he can. Is quite talented. So yes.
That's right. So it's recreational golf, I suppose, is his fallback position these days. But certainly, he was making those decisions in his final year at high school. That this is where I want to go. He'd been beaten handsomely by Jacko Gill at the same time, and so that fired a determination to succeed as well. That he wasn't going to allow this young whippersnapper from Auckland to steal his thunder. And Jacko early on did show enormous potential, and certainly was throwing better than Tom, and certainly at World Championship level did better in their initial clashes.
Especially in that age group, early age group categories, wasn't it? Jacko was a standout, and he still is, obviously, getting his best place ever at a major championships with the Olympics this year in Paris. And so he took the junior title here 15 years ago when Tom won the senior title. But here's our big men, as we call them, lining up for the senior boys shot put. I'm sure a few of these boys have been in some scrums during the course of the winter as well. Kevin, so yeah, it'll be some talent in there. I'm sure if these boys have the same drive and determination as either Tom or Jacko, if they want to take a future for it.
Yes, indeed. And some And again, one of these things that's much more evident these days, but probably in throwing events all round really, is that while bulk is important, speed and agility in a circle is really quite pivotal.
Yeah, and it's probably a fairly open shot put competition, so it'll be good to see who comes through. There's a few Wellington athletes in there which I'll take note of, because they will have come out of the Solar Power Throwing Academy from Lower Hutt there, I'm sure. Most of them, but yeah, there's a range of athletes in there, so it'll be really good to see who comes through to the fore. But
we've got the list on the board there now, Tony. So we've got a total of 22, and this will be the throwing order for the first 3 rounds. And covering a range of schools across the country, and that's one across the motu. That's one of the delights, I think, isn't it, of these championships, that you glance at the list, you know, Darfield High School, Southland boys, Rotorua boys, St Patrick's, Silverstream, Westlake boys, Christchurch boys. The spread and of talent is nationwide.
Oh, absolutely, and it's one of the things that's stood the test of time. I think 51 years ago, I think there was 203 schools attended the first championships in Christchurch, and this year we were 198 schools, and they're never the same schools that come, of course, with athletes, and some have got some big numbers. Westlake boys have got a strong contingent here, led by Tian Stridham and St Peter's School out of Cambridge, led by Ange Russick and Sonia Waddell. And there's also Christchurch boys. I think they're the top 3 schools in terms of athletes entered by number here. So, but yeah, a huge range of schools, and that's the greatest thing, and which was the original philosophy about this New Zealand Secondary Schools Athletics, which was set up as a test event for the Commonwealth Games way back in 1973, was to enable schools to come from all around the country to a national championships. They didn't have to go through any qualifying regional tournaments, so you have open entry here by school.
And that's quite a bold move, really, isn't it? When you think about it, so often people have to go through sort of regional and provincial activities to make sure that they get to a school's championship. But it is open here, and it's realistic too. The people don't turn up or don't endeavour to overcommit.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was always the aim, is to make it possible for schools to come from, you know, athletes to come from any region or any school, no matter how urban or rural they were, and we definitely have that mix here. So you're just looking at the ranking lists from some of the athletes that are in this field. It will be quite interesting to see, but it seems that Jiraiya Isikaya from looks like Mount Albert Grammar is one of the athletes with one of the leading rankings, so we'll see how he goes on form. He's got a personal best this season of 16.67, so these young men throwing the 5 kg shot out there today, so we'll see how they perform.
Well, we're getting a little pan there of the entire arena, some discus warm-up taking place. And I think probably we're coming around to what event getting underway fairly shortly will be high jump.
So that's getting underway at 10 for the senior girls. And
so they'll be assembling already. I can see 1 or 2 of yes, they are. Got a little tent there and going through their sort of mental preparation.
And if we look across the stadium, it's absolutely ideal conditions out there right now, isn't it? Which is often the thing that happens with some of these New Zealand Secondary School events. The best conditions are in the morning sessions when it's calmer across the motu, before the wind comes down prevailing off the hills. Or as in yesterday or last evening, I think it was actually coming in off the coast, but it's definitely a lovely calm morning out there this morning. So.
Yes, they'll be relishing these conditions. In fact, I think probably the track athletes will be saying, gosh, wish we were out there. Well, we'll see the first of the track events that we'll be covering will be the 100 metres, and they'll appreciate still conditions. I guess they would probably prefer a slight tailwind, but And still conditions is most acceptable.
So there goes our first shot putter of the morning. That's Bondi Trevor Smith from Fiordland College. So as we said, people from all around the land competing here at these championships. So Fiordland College must be one of our most southern ones represented this weekend. Next up is Jonty Leary from Christchurch Boys. He looked like he almost stepped out of the circle incorrectly. Remembered at the last moment, didn't he?
That's right, his foot was raised there.
He got a white flag, which is the most important thing. But yeah, so for the viewers at home, the circle's marked with a in the half, and the athletes have to walk out the back half of the circle, whichever of the throws that they are competing in. So it looked like he was reasonably happy with that throw, actually, and was wanting to get out there. So this is just trying to pick up this athlete's name. 785 is Alapati Tuasa Soega from St. Peter's School. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Alapati, I know that's the correct way to. So Alapati Tusa. Westlake boys laid in there now. We'll get through these athletes fairly quickly. The field of 22.
It's a very bright,
lovely bright orange shot put, isn't it?
It is. It certainly won't get lost anywhere, will it? All right. I think obviously this is an occasion where the tape is being used.
Yeah, the find with sometimes with the shorter length distance events that the tape and the is quicker than the EDM because you're not having to drag it. But when you've got to drag it long distances between 30 to 50 or 60 metres and get it off the field.
All right, Hamish McLuckin of Christchurch Boys just rebalancing at the end of that throw, wasn't he?
Yes, needs to tidy that up a little bit, doesn't he?
Fairly straightforward. Nobody doing any spinning in the circle so far.
No.
I think we'll see that happen with one or two of our top performers, and this could be one of them now. That's yes. When you've got the back to the board, indicates a spinner coming up, and that's a big one.
Yeah, you can see that's a lot further out towards us, isn't it? Just trying to pick up. So that's Reed Davison, isn't it, from Rangitoto College up there in Auckland. So, yeah, fairly proficient with his throwing technique there. This is a young lad from Mags, or Mount Albert Grammar.
Also going to be his back to us, so he's going to be spinning as well. And he won't be happy with that one.
So that was Oscar Steep.
He gets the red flag. It flew out of the sector, not by a large distance, but it really doesn't matter. It doesn't remain within the.
So yeah, he was
the lines that are marked there that run out from the front board of the shot put circle.
This is Case Fata Tolai from Wellington College. Standard technique, but good strong put there.
So sort of number 150, James Moore, Christchurch Boys High School. He's one of the favoured performers, so you can handling that shot put in the air very easily there at the moment. And that's a very good put. We're not getting those results up on screen just at the moment. Probably at this early stage, Tony, we're looking at...
Every now and then we'll catch the film. That was a 16.17 throw, so that might be one of the leading throws at this stage. Anything over 16 metres is good quality for these boys. That one looked pretty good as well.
All right, so we'll pay attention to the rotating scoreboard. One of the young officials there flicking that around, 12.93. Now probably have to go a little bit further than that to be sure to make the top 8.
So this is Kieran Lawson from St Peter's School. We've got a number of St Peter's around the country. I think that's St Peter's of Cambridge. The look of the kit. So,
1-2-2. Felix Bowden in the fairly distinctive Christ College uniform from Christchurch. White with the 2 black bands. So I'm guessing, Tony, that we're looking at, in terms of qualifying, something over 14 metres would be getting you close to the top 8 in this?
Yes, I think with looking at the ranking list for these boys in the under 18 New Zealand rankings, that 14-15 metres will get you in the top 8. There's some reasonably proficient throws. There's a throw. The previous throw was 12.55. Coming into the circle now is 2.26, and that's James Mahi from Dulwich School in Auckland.
Yeah, they're measuring it. So
yeah, got a white flag. He must have just kept his balance there. So not getting too many throws over the 13 at the moment, but I'm sure this is a Tauranga Boys College lad.
Yep.
David Mora.
Yes, he's a 15-metre thrower at his best.
And that looks pretty handy with it coming straight at the camera. .50, so yes, so that should be a good starting point.
Izzy Kamana into the circle and out of the circle quite quickly, really.
Yeah. Yes, it's right interesting watching these young throwers in the circle, isn't it? How the more sort of maybe experienced athletes have a little bit more composure, they take a bit more time, whereas some of the less experienced on this level of performance stage, they get in there and rush it a little bit, and whereas the quite experienced athletes definitely take a bit of time to get themselves set.
So Oscar Stevenson from Darfield College. You see on the track 1500 metre heats for junior girls.
Yes, some of these girls will be backing up from their 3000 last evening. All of them will be trying to get round and qualify and conserve some energy.
Moving along in a
leisurely pace, aren't they?
They are. It looks under control from this lead group anyway, doesn't it?
high jump.
The qualifying for those girls is the top 7 in each race, so as we can see them on screen there, going by the shot put, which we're back to now. Getting towards the bottom, and this is Keegan Sharkey out of St Pat's Silverstream in Wellington. He's one of our favoured athletes, I would think. And,
quite nonchalance about that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just see where he gets. He'll want to get comfortably over the 13 metre mark anyway, I think. See if he's done that. Oh, yeah.
Very good judgment there, a commentator to call. This young athlete doesn't have his number on his back, so we'll have to try and pick up the front. But you may know if it's St Thomas of Canterbury, I'm not sure.
I suspect that he was on the schedule to be that, and he was in and out of the circle very quickly, wasn't he?
Yeah. So it looks like we might have got through the first round anyway in the senior boys shot so far, and we've had a few strong performances up around 15 to 16, but most of them around that 13 metre mark, aren't they? Yes, a little bit less. So
yep.
I hope the nerves have settled down for some of these big lads, and they get into their work, as they say, in round 2.
Got a glance across at the
Junior Girls 15 going by, and there's looks like a nice group of 6 athletes there.
Yes.
As they come towards the finish, so there's top 7 to qualify, so those girls are all pretty comfortable. So the young lady up front wants to make every post a winner, but there's no real need for that, is it? She suddenly realised that she's a long way ahead of the group and eases right down to the line. So it's very comfortable running for these girls, just over 5, around 5.25 minutes, just a bit under. The top 7 will go through nicely. 2 heats of those junior girls 1500s.
Yes, and they'll be move off the track now and
come back tomorrow morning.
Yes, Cass.
Jack Stowers from St Pat's in Silverstream and Wellington as well, top of the second round, and that's a fairly healthy put.
Yes.
Just in the sector though.
Yes, he's close to 15 metres in pre-competition, his recorded performance. And that looked to be close to that. Let's see how he's gone. 13.44. I think he'd be looking for a little bit more than that. But he's got at least another throw to go after this second round throw.
So the title last year was won by Blessing Seppo, who's gone on to be in the sort of top half dozen of our shot putters at senior level, or staying in that grade, under 20 as well. But he threw 17.19 last year, and I'm pretty sure that the school record is considerably more than that, which was set by I think Jacko Gill from memory in the shot puts. Yes, he's got the senior boys shot put at 23.86 for the same 5 kg shot. So that shows the talent of Jacko Gill when he was at school. 23.86, considerably huge throw compared to what we're seeing at the moment. But we'll see some 16 to 17, possibly 17 metre throws. But yeah, last year the title was won in 17.
I mean, there's no question. As a schoolboy, he was outstanding, wasn't he?
And always with athletes at school here, we've got to remember their sort of training ages, if you like. That gives you an indication of where they're at. And most athletes still relatively early on in their athletic training age, if you like, in terms of their pathway if they want to carry on and be long-term performers.
And it is a long-term performer for shot putting. Tom Walsh has indicated that he's around for another intention to be here around for another 4 years. Jacko, I think, is well into his second decade of top-line international athletics. It used to be the belief that shot putters sort of went on forever. It's not quite that simple, but certainly both those athletes, Tom Walsh and Jack O'Gill, have etched out a lengthy career already.
I think that was Adam Lease from Westlake there. We'll see what his throw comes up at. 11.67. Hamish McGuckin from Christchurch Boys.
This is athletes into the second round. They've got the nerves of beginning the competition out of the way, and so, you know, they're somehow or other in the second round there's a sort of focus and awareness that, okay, I've actually got to get out there now.
Yeah, as we said, first round obviously, depending on their level of experience, there's a lot of nerves. We'll see if some of these athletes get a little bit more composed as they come into the circle. And this is a boy from Rangitoto College, Reed Davidson. He's a fairly accomplished performer. He's got a personal best over 17 metres, so we'll see what he does here. And it's fairly strong put coming off the sector to our left there as we look at the screen.
Yep. Very efficient operation of the school. Well, that's a big throw, isn't it? I think that's the best one of the competition by a margin, isn't it?
1770, so that's right out where we said is what was in line with last year's winning title throw. So that's good to see Reed Davidson and his out of the North Shore there. Very strong performance, and it definitely will, I think, is what is the longest throw that we've seen so far today. So he'll be able to sit back and relax a little bit. He knows he's in the top 8 for sure. So yeah, as I said, 1790 was the winning throw last year, so 1770s right up in the podium positions.
After the first lap, it looks like Greta Hunter from Barradine College is leading the girls now, with Rachel Wagner from St. Cuff tucked on her shoulder.
You can see the readiness of the high jump.
So as the girls are running round, just a reminder, we need the medalists for the junior girls discus, junior boys long jump. Can you please report to the balloon medal tent, which is past 100 metre finish, and also James Meeker, our local MP.
Right.
Yeah, so the senior girls high jump, they were, we thought, getting underway at 10 o'clock, but they seem to have got underway.
Well, I think we probably embrace that, Tony, at the track and field meeting of the scale that if all the athletes are there, ready to go, warmed up, approval from the athletes themselves, I think they can start early. So. Yeah, the competition director definitely would get them underway, because we do have 2 high jumps to get through today, and sometimes the high jump can be that event that takes a while to get through. So we'll have an expert to come in and join you shortly in the high jump, and that's Keely O'Hagan, our New Zealand women's #1 in high jump, Commonwealth Games rep. So we'll see if we can get her into the commentator seat shortly. So out on the track, we've still got some of our 1500 metre competitors making their way round. Back to the shot put, 150, stepping into the circle, James Moore from Christchurch Boys High School. Again, I guess we can again identify the colours of the school, the black and blue of, again, working on balance. And he gets the white flag, so no problems there, and exiting the circle. And another throw. I think certainly in excess of 15 metres. I'm a long way from shot put circle, but it looked as if it flew well. Oh yes, 1756. So that throws him certainly into big contention for a podium finish.
Still leading is Greta Hunter, as well as Indy Williams, it looks
And
like
it's going to
Madison
be,
Watts
it's
has
been
made her
ruled
way up.
outside the
Rachel
sector,
Wagner's still up in
so
that
I
front
think it
row.
just either landed on the line or just outside. The red flag goes up. So second round, no throw recorded.
Just a reminder, if we could have the junior
770
girls
is Kieran Lawson from
discus
St
from
Peter's School.
last evening's event, please report to the blue medal tent at the end of the finish line.
So it's the top sevens, the same girls coming through: Indy Williams, Greta Hunter, Madison Watts. The girls are easing up over the line. The top seven from each heat qualify through to the final.
All right. 1-2-2. Felix Bowden from Christ College. Right, number 226 steps into the circle. James Mahi, Dilworth School in Auckland.
I'm going to give him my number.
Just waiting for the scoreboard to show up. Operating very efficiently down the far end, making adjustments on a easy basis. 11:29, and Tairona Boys High School competitor coming in next. Plenty of height in that throw. He'll be quite satisfied, I think, with the distance and. Right, and we have a change of vision. We're moving from the senior boys shot put to senior girls high jump competition, and joining us here in the commentary box for the first time at these championships, Kelly O'Hagan. Kelly, welcome.
Kia ora, thanks for having me.
And delight to have you here. We don't have much better expertise than having a top-rated New Zealand high jump champion. So welcome, and you'll be watching this event with keen interest, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely. It was something that obviously I participated in when I was younger, so very much excited to see how everyone goes, and I have a few of my friends in there, so I'm excited to see all the results.
So this competition, we just noted, started a fraction early, really. It was due to get underway at 10. Obviously, all of the athletes ready to go. The bar at 1:45. Not all of the athletes will be coming in at this height, of course.
No, some people, depending on how confident they are in their ability, they'll be starting a bit later, but then some people will be starting now as well. It's a bit of a nerve-wracking event, especially if you're not used to jumping and starting a little bit higher. So there'll be some people that definitely can jump a little bit higher than what the current height is now, but will be wanting to start because of nerves and confidence.
It settles things down a bit, doesn't it, really? If you can get in there, just get the feel of both, I guess, the feel of the track as much as anything, and the environment around you.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a little bit to get used to the track, and this is quite a new track in comparison to some of the others in the country. It's a Mondo one, so it can be a little bit faster, so it might take people a little bit longer to adjust to that and, you know, move their run-ups if they need to.
So it started at 145, it's 150 at the moment. Well, that'll need a wee bit of a rethink from that performance, but when things aren't going right on the run-up, it's just almost inevitable, isn't it? That
yeah, to an extent, and you can obviously head back to your coach and have a wee kōrero about what you can change and how to attack the next jump. And for a lot of these people, you know, this might be their first big comp that they've done, and so with doing that in any event comes a lot of nerves, and it's not an easy thing when you're out there, especially if it's your first time.
Next on the track we will have the junior boys.
so Eliza McDonald from the Girls School in Christchurch. You'll be familiar with this young lady?
Yes, indeed.
Boys College.
Yep, local Christchurch and Cantabrian. It's different getting used to all the school uniforms again, because I'm used to all the club uniforms, so going back to school ones has taken a little bit of an adjustment. And we've got a clearance there. So it looks like this height has got, the bar has gone up to 155, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, sorry, it might still be at 150.
Coaches will be crowding around the fence line, or just on the other side of the track, and just an opportunity for a conversation. That's the competitor earlier,
Martha. Great clearance there from her. But yes, all the coaches are there. I popped down just before to say a quick hi to everyone, and it was a hi to about 10 different people down there. It's always great, you know where they're going to be. I can imagine that's the same for all events.
Yeah, it's an element of both competition and socialisation, really, at these championships, isn't it? Really, a chance to catch up with people.
And for a lot of the coaches that have been around for many years, they're all good, close friends, and so they just love nothing more than to be with friends and on the sideline talking about the thing that they love.
A little bit of a pause here. They're trying to remove a little bit of the running rail, I think, will they, for a moment or two? We've flicked back to the shot put for the moment. 977.
The senior girls high jump. Number of girls.
Is that Westlake boys, I think?
And going up to 1 metre 55 soon by the looks.
Yep.
And in the centre of the field, we are going to present an event from last night.
And 12:27.
Local
Number 147 stepping up to the circle.
Assist us with this presentation. He claims that his
Hamish McLaughlin of Christchurch Boys.
Jodie McCarthy Dempsey just taking her first attempt at 155 in the high jump. She's successful there. Oh, they're in very quickly into the next round.
There was no hesitation there, was there?
Not at all. Even the live results haven't quite caught up on that. But the young girl who just jumped was also from Christchurch as well. Zara was successful. Ooh, that was a close one.
It was, isn't it? And what would be the advice Kelly had given to that athlete just coming in? It looked as if it just flicked with the leg as she came down.
I didn't quite actually see the beginning part of her, or majority of her run-up, so I can imagine that she potentially just took off in a slightly different position from when she needed to. She might have needed just a little bit more space. However, I didn't quite see all the rest of it there. I was looking at the results. And a miss there. So this is at 155 for anyone who's just joining. We've had quite a few clearances. We have seen everyone so far in the competition has cleared up until this height. Oh, we've got a few narrow misses there.
That's yes.
Sometimes in your first attempt, especially if it's at a height that's that you're feeling a little bit less confident about, you kind of need a decent attempt for your first one, even if it's a fail, to then give you a little bit of confidence of like, yep, I can go on and I can attack the next one.
So senior girls high jump up to 1 metre 55. And just to remember, if you want your coffee, come past the end of the grandstand on the hill there. I can recommend the coffee, very good.
She is
come and grab
clear,
your coffee.
So almost a little popover, isn't it, for that?
Yes, she's got quite a bit of spring in her step.
The boys are warming up for the heats of the junior boys 1500.
This is Ava Gersma from St. Peter's College in Gore. Apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly. And that was unfortunately a miss for the first attempt there. And she's running back off to her coach.
Yep, just what will he be telling her? Or she'd be telling her, I guess.
Depends on what they've been working on. I think the thing with any technical event is it's really easy as an outsider to look in and see what may need to be adjusted going forward. This is Mia De Jager on her first attempt. She won last year, so she will probably be looking to retain her title. But going back, yeah, it depends on what you've been working on. I mean, you and your coach, you might be working on something that's completely unrelated to the technical side. It might be mental skills, and that's your goal and the outcome for that session there. There's also a lovely clearance there.
Both are both in very good clearances from the last two competitors.
South competing today, and you want a $10 voucher to New World. New World round the corner just gave some vouchers.
Very comfortable there.
Yep, that's Eliza McDonald from Timaru.
So Eliza's competing with her sister Zara alongside each other in this event. They are twins, and they are very, very competitive and talented athletes within the Christchurch region.
There'll be some more spot prizes later, those have gone. There will be some $20 Lone Star and Go Care.
So there's some key things kind of within high jump, and as I mentioned before, this is quite a fast track, and so it might take people a little bit of adjustment to get used to that. And so kind of being able to maintain a consistent speed rather than accelerating too much or decelerating is quite key. And it can just, they've got really good weather conditions out there, so it's kind of optimal, very little wind, and so being able to maintain and not kind of get too excited or run a bit too fast or be too cautious. It's a bit of a fine game to find that balance. This is Martha McNamee from Wellington East. Miss at 155 there.
You've competed on this track. I've seen you down here at the Lovelock meeting at the beginning of January, so you actually have been on the surface.
Yes, and I'm going to come back. I'll do Lovelock in January coming up again, purely because it's a nice track to jump on.
Right.
And also it's always great conditions, and so if you can get good conditions and a nice track, it's a really good time to open up your season. Give yourself some time to fine-tune a few things before all the rest of the classics.
Yes.
There's Jasmine Davis there with I believe a second attempt miss.
So we have 15 senior girls in this competition. That was India Nash from St Mary's College in Auckland. I was chatting to her grandmother a little bit time ago, Sally Meany.
There's her grandmother down here.
Her grandmother is here.
Wonderful. It's always nice when you've got family support that come down and watch you.
She competed in the hurdles a little bit earlier. And at this stage in athletic careers, it is
wonderful clearance there.
Yep, I think that's Lisa Lockman, is it, from Otago Girls?
It is indeed. I believe from memory that Lisa may have been competing again last year as well, and may have got one of the medals in either the senior or the junior girls. Oh, and another clearance just there. So it's really awesome to see the next height that we're coming up to shortly, 160. So it's currently remaining at 155 just for the final attempts. But when we go to 160, that's around a lot of people's personal bests. So it'll be awesome to see if we can see some of them broken today in these great conditions.
Yes, Lisa picked up a bronze last year in the senior girls high jump. Her clearance on that occasion was 163, so 155 is well within her range of abilities.
Martha McNamee from Wellington East Girls coming for her second attempt here. So this would be a personal best for her if she did get it. Better jump than a better attempt than the last attempt. She had a little bit more speed going into that, which is awesome. And I know that for the last one, she'll just be giving it everything she's got.
The junior boys 1500 metres, which will mean the top 5 from each race will qualify. Nobody else fine.
So we see a slight adjustment there on the run-up marker, I think was being made there, was it, by one of our next competitors?
Yes, indeed. It's very common for, as you go up in heights, to be increasing your whakatata back, so your run-up moving it back. Oh, wonderful clearance there. There was plenty of eke over that.
Jasmine Davis from St Paul's and Hamilton, walking back with.
So in the junior boys 1500, the record was set 2 years ago by Alfie Steedman.
That was India Nash, who will go back and rethink that one.
And that's our first heat underway in the junior boys.
So we've got Laura Townshend for her final attempt. Again, this would be a PB for Laura. So hopefully she's able to get over this bar, because it's awesome to see the celebrations and everyone. But if not, being able to attempt a PB is amazing as well. Or not to be today.
Nope.
Got some wonderful jumping there from Laura Townshend. This is the final attempt for Martha McNamee, and after this we will be going to 160. Very, very close there, but that is the final attempt there for Martha McNamee, and so she will have 150 as her final height. See Mia Diego there just going to talk to one of the officials, wearing a blanket around her. It's a very, very common thing for high jumpers and field eventers to wear a blanket. It just kind of keeps you a bit warm, even though it's quite warm out there, and keeps your legs warm whilst also not having to have the hassle of putting clothes on and off.
That's right, removing the tracksuit bottoms is much more challenging, isn't it? So.
Especially when you've got 9mm spikes in. You've got on each foot there's I think 10 9mm spikes, so it just makes it a little bit more difficult when you catch your clothing.
We've got in the background there 1500 metre heats, junior boys by the way. Up to the high jump.
And Sam Ruth from Tauranga Boys Coastal coming through, very accomplished athlete.
And a very close attempt there for Jodie McCarthy-Dempsey. Jodie is a multi-eventer, so heptathlete, so she does many different events, high jump being one of her specialty guides.
I think we saw her in the hurdles earlier today, would that be correct?
Yes, you would have. She is a frequent traveller in all events.
Oliver Foley, Paul Murray in the next bunch, Otto Church there as well. Top 5, they will qualify.
160 proving to be a little bit more difficult for these young ladies out there today.
Zara McDonnell of Rangiuru.
.47 is the time we're looking for. Sam Root comes around. That'll be one of our athletes. This will be a New Zealand junior record. Sam Root by himself. He's going to break 350 possibly. It is. Unofficially 349 there. That's a New Zealand junior boys 1500 metre record.
I have a feeling that in the boys 1500 metres there may have been a junior record broken.
Yes, there was. Young Sam Ruth, who's a young man who's hit the headlines over the last couple of weeks, just set a New Zealand junior boys 1500 metre record, running under 3 minutes 50. So we'll try and pick up that full confirmation of that. He's just run away from that field.
Managed to pick up just the last few people coming through there of that race, but obviously a really awesome effort there.
Sam Ruth there from Tauranga Boys, who was the It's always the challenge of a track and field meeting. There are exciting things happening all around the ground, aren't there? It's not all just focused on the one event. We're focusing on the high jump at the moment. There are 1500 metre heats, and obviously a New Zealand secondary schools 1500 metre record in the junior boys. The shot put's taking place down the other end of the ground. Long jumps taking place near the stand, just in front, not far from where we are commentating. So if you're an athletics aficionado, you've got plenty to watch, haven't you?
Very much so, especially if you're here, if for those that are in the stadium today. It's a very exciting thing. Your heads will be turning kind of here, there and everywhere. But at the moment we are focused on the tupeke, so the high jump, and this height is proving to be quite challenging for everyone so far. There hasn't been anyone who has made 160. There's a couple more to go at this height, and then they will go into the second attempts. And I think this is coming down to there's a lot of people have their personal bests around this height, and so to be attempting a personal best or around a personal best is obviously really incredible and shows that you're at kind of the top of your abilities at the moment.
Well, it's a nice clearance, wasn't it?
There we go. That was a nice clearance, and I think that might have been Taylor Trowell from Palmerston North Girls. And if the results in front of me are correct, that was a equal personal best.
Ooh, that was close. Eliza McDonnell. What will she be thinking as she wanders back there now?
It could be either slight disappointment or feeling kind of the motivation, having fueled your fire by not getting it. Oh, and there's Jodie McCarthy-Dempsey. She'll be happy to have got over that height. But when you don't get a bar, you try and keep as level-headed as possible and not let too many emotions come over you, because you don't want that to impact in a negative way your next height. Oh, and there is a failure there for Zara McDonald. But yes, you definitely want to try and remain as, I guess, chill as possible, whilst also excited and, looking forward to the next attempt, because that's why we've got 3 attempts. You don't always, unless it comes back to a count back, and it just uses up a little bit more energy, you don't always have to get it on your first attempt. Obviously, ideally you do, but you've got time to rethink, and sometimes as soon as you take off, you're like, oh, I know what I did wrong, or I know what I need to work on for the next one. So that's when those corridors with your coach are really, really key.
And we are underway with heat 2 of 3 in the junior boys 1500 metres. Running on the track in this, we have Rory Davies from Auckland Grammar School, Arlen Murphy from St. School, Cooper Hall from St. Andrews College,
So Lockman
from Otago Boys High School,
will be doing precisely as you suggested, going back and having a rethink and just reflecting on the next jump, really. You've just got to move on, don't you, really?
Definitely. And it's a really good, field events are quite good for that, because we have our moments where we struggle to move on, but you do just have to reset and fully, just be like, okay, that happened, and then just look forward to the future. So, some pretty key life lessons that can be learnt from sport in all different areas, and that's definitely one of them. Try not to hold on and just move forward. Ooh, we have a clearance there.
Hannah Hickson of St Paul's College.
I'd imagine her and her coach might be looking at moving her run it back a little bit. Just took off a little too close, which probably accounted for some of the bar love there. But that's a very common thing for people to give the bar a little bit of love.
There's Eva Oiksma of St Peter's College in Gore.
You've got your... Oh, now I've brought his numbers and tags. Sweet, thank you. I'll get it now.
And you have a clearance there for Eliza McDonnell at 160. The next height she'll be going for will be a personal best height. So this is also, that was just a season's best. That's a really great achievement now.
Go Boonen, go Rory, go Kingston.
Not quite to be for her sister Zara.
you indicated keenness and competition between the two sisters.
As far as I'm aware, yeah. They're part of the old Christchurch Old Boys Cadet program that my coach, Terry Lomax, is a big part of and one of the coaches for. And I always see them having a good time with their friends there. It's really great.
That's already the lovely part of athletics. I mean, this is the competitive part, but it's the coming together and training and seeking to improve. It's all part of the fun, isn't it, really?
Definitely, and that's what you do. You know, you're spending most of your time doing that. So if you're, not enjoying your training environment, it's going to be pretty hard to enjoy the competition environment as well. Lisa Luckman on her final attempt here, and a very close attempt that was. Well done, Lisa.
Yes, I see Lisa competing regularly in Dunedin, and she has considerable potential, but not today. She won't be on the podium, will she? So
not today. However, I'm not sure of the ages of these. I know that sometimes stepping up from a junior to a senior can be a little bit difficult. I'm not sure of Lisa's circumstances, but for some of these it might be their first year in seniors, coming from juniors, and often you'll have at least 2 years in the senior age group.
Right, we're back to the shot put, senior boys. They must be moving, I would think, into the final rounds. Jack Stowers on the screen at the moment. From Pat's College and Silverstream.
And currently leading the senior boys shot put, we have Reid Davidson from Rangitoto College. He got a personal best of 17:23.
Right, so he's come to these championships and found a really big one, hasn't he?
Oh, apologies. That was his personal best coming into the champs.
That's right.
He through 18:49.
That's very, very classy.
Very, very classy indeed, and a huge personal best.
That's where you want to come to the national championships and perform at this level.
Definitely, it's one of the pinnacle events for these ages, and so to be able to pull that out in such a big one is an awesome achievement.
Keegan Sharkey from St. Pat's Silverstream into the circle. And we're just having a little look at the senior boy shot put while the bar goes up in the high jump at the other end of the ground. This is the southern end of the ground we're watching at the moment. 13:49. He has a best in this competition of 13:92. There's good consistency there.
I believe this is the 5th round at the moment, so we've got our top 8. So all of these boys are in the young men are in the top 8. Going in the 5th round.
Just legs went at me.
I've actually been upskilling recently in shot put. I did a little bit of multi-event training for a few months. I've gone back to high jump specific training now, but I was definitely doing multi stuff. And we're back at high jump, with 163 on the bar. And that was Jodie McCarthy-Dempsey there.
So you've got new respect for the shot put now, Keely, have you?
Definitely. I've done a shot put competition, I did a javelin competition, long jump. I haven't quite done a hurdles. That's on my radar, either before Christmas or early in the new year. I have a very, very newfound respect for javelin throwers with how difficult the event is. I always respected it, but I didn't have the understanding of how hard it is to get into the positions that they get in. and how hard it is to throw as far as they throw. This is Naomi Waite for her first attempt of the competition. Naomi went to World Juniors in Peru earlier this year, only a few months ago, and so she will be happy about opening her competition with a clearance at 163.
Yeah, it was a very, there was a lot of distance between her and the bar as she went over that time, wasn't there?
Yes, definitely. Naomi has a personal best of 1.80 metre, so I know that she'll be wanting to push close or upwards of that today. It's the first attempt there for Hannah Hickson at 163. Hannah has a personal best of 169. So it's well within her capabilities.
And underway in our third and final heat in the junior boys 1500 metres, top 5 will make it through to the final. Isaac Johnson from Christchurch Boys High School.
So just going back to your multi-eventing development, it probably does mean also you've probably got to go over 800 metres as well, does it?
Oh, I didn't actually do any of my training in that. And that was also a lovely clearance there for Mia Diego. Also with a personal best of 1.80 metre.
So the competition at the top end here between these two that we've just seen jumping is going to be quite intense, isn't it? The bar's some way to go yet.
Dunbar from Nelson College, Hunter Flowers from Southland Boys High School, and Lachlan Murray.
Definitely with these two, we've got some really good competition, but you never know. Any of the others can also be fully capable of popping out some pretty good heights too.
Just been shaking the hand of James Meager, the local MP for this region, who's attending here today. It's an occasion really where in fact people from all sorts of spheres of life appear at track and field meetings, isn't it?
We have Liza McDonald on the runway at the moment, going in for her first attempt, and that was a really close attempt there. Just going into the bar a little bit too much, not having enough space to be able to get the rotation over the bar. So I can imagine that, from my understanding, it will be Terry, our neutral coach, who will be helping her today.
Right.
And so he would have definitely picked up on that. As you can see the intent on Jodie's face there. Really good second attempt.
As I watch her moving back there's a little bit of a tension there in one of the legs as she's walking back. She's not quite as fluently moving. She's obviously may not be carrying an injury, but she's certainly
looks a little bit more uncomfortable coming off the mat.
Yeah.
So hopefully she's doing okay and able to push through and for the rest of the events.
1500 metres preliminaries in the background. It might be the shot putters by the look of the build of the young men going across the track at the moment, making their way back.
This is Hannah Hickson on her second attempt there. Hannah's from John Paul College. Actually don't know where that is.
I should know where John Paul College is.
I feel very out of touch from school life. It's been a very long time. Since 2011 was my final year in school.
Well, I'm not going to comment too deeply. I want to say that it was in the last century for me by quite some margin. Right, well, back to the shot put for a moment, and we're into the last round well and truly. They'll be throwing in what we call reverse order from the qualifiers. The 8th qualifier starting first, going on to the lead qualifier, who's going into this final round, is Reed Davidson, and we commented earlier with his fine performance of 18.49 metres. Were you able to spin in the circle when you were doing your shot put?
I definitely couldn't spin. I think that I would lose my balance very, very easily if I did that, and I think that that is something that comes with many years of training. That was not something that even my coach attempted with me.
And I
Can we please have the manager
just check
from
whether
Otago Boys High School
our
to
throw
go
there
to
by
the IC?
Jara Sikia. No, it looks as if it did fly out of the circle. It looked close, but all right, the little marker goes into the middle as it is doing a little bit of consultation amongst the officials there for a moment at the shot put.
Wait on Wednesday Girls College, take a throw from Thompson Girls High School. The only three at this stage over 1 metre 63.
Back to the high jump.
Jodie McCarthy-Dempsey with an exceptionally close attempt there, and I believe that is her last attempt. She will exit the competition having jumped 160.
Yep,
well done, Jodie.
The shoes come off.
The shoes come off. And hopefully she's okay there. She's just walking with a little bit of a limp, so hopefully it's nothing serious.
Well, she's got a hurdles final tomorrow at least, and
That's pretty sure.
a number of the athletes have got a range of competitions. They probably have to be selective though, don't they? Jodie's obviously got a hurdles final. She's had the high jump. They're certainly not mutually exclusive events by any means, but you do have to make choices for athletes coming here, just how much you commit yourself.
Definitely, and at this age, you're just trying and wanting to see where your capabilities lie, and just enjoyment as well. That was the final attempt there for Hannah Hickson. She will also exit the competition with a 160 there, which is a little off her PB, so she might be a little bit disappointed. However, she had some really lovely jumps in there today. Yeah, I think that a really awesome thing is that people of this age group do a variety of events, because I think it's really important to just consistently be trying and utilising a whole lot of events. Very close. So we do have our top three in the women's high jump, which have been determined. We have Mia De Jager, Naomi Waite and Taylor Trow. They will each get a medal. However, it is yet to be decided on the colour of the medals.
And I think they've really got quite a few jumps to go really in this competition, haven't they? Even though we've eliminated the remainder of the field that we started off at. All right. So there we are on screen. The result of the senior boys shot put competition, and Lee Davidson of Rangitoto College with a very fine performance of 18.38 metres. We've just moved very quickly on to the top 16. In fact, all of the competitors' performances listed.
In lane 2, Lockie Dumba from Wairapa College. Lane 3, Finn Man from Timaru Boys High. In lane 4, Isaac
just having a look at the records at the moment for the New Zealand secondary schools, and there's some very, very well-known names in here. We've got Angie Smith, Olympian, who will also be joining us. She's
joining
us later.
Yes, she is. She'll be commentating in the course of these championships.
We have Olivia McTaggart, who was just one of the Olympians this year. Lauren Bruce, also an Olympian. We have Brad Mathis, a very well-known 800 metre runner. And Jacko Gill, as most people would know Jacko, very, very talented shot putter who has done exceptionally well on the world stage. So awesome to see so many names that have excelled here also going through. But on that note, just because you excel then don't get a national record when you're younger doesn't mean that you aren't going to go forward and get it when you are older. So there will definitely be many people who, I can think of Hamish Kerr as one, who came, just did a whole lot of different events when he was younger, and then over time slowly started to specialise in high jump, and has gone now as an Olympic champion.
Yep, you can't do much better than that, can you, really?
Nope, it's the pinnacle of what every athlete wants to achieve.
My wife picked up a copy of the Women's Weekly this week, and Hamish features very strongly in that.
Amazing.
As a story. I mean, he's the story of he and Maddie featuring very strongly. Oh, that's a nice clearance, isn't it?
Very lovely clearance there at 166. It does look like Naomi Waite has passed at this height.
So this is getting tactical, Keely, isn't it? Once we start doing things like this.
Very much so. Energy preserving there, I'm assuming, from Naomi. Very close attempt for Taylor. She has PB'd at the last height, 163. So this would be a wonderful PB.
And that was very close.
Very close. The thing that I loved most about especially at schools was that you were always competing with your friends, and it's something that hasn't actually changed as an adult. However, when you move overseas, you don't know as many people, but everyone kind of knows everyone in this situation most of the time. These girls would have been competing against each other for quite some time, and so knowing that you're out there with your mates as well was such a fun and enjoyable time.
So again, a good attempt by Taylor Trowell from Palmerston North Girls. I got the feeling that she had a bit of belief that she can do this. There's just just the way she steps away, and I guess with the two lead performers at the moment, Nia Diago and Naomi, there was what's the time difference that how long has she got between jumps, because really she's the only one now attempting this height.
So you have 3 minutes when you're the... Oh, sorry, actually, because there's still 3 of them in there. I think it's maybe 2 minutes for consecutive jumps. When you're the final person, it's 3 minutes between jumps, but I'm pretty sure that when there's 3 people, it's 2 minutes, either 2 or 3.
Yep. So she's just taking her time here now. She's just having a little drink and just generally preparing to say, well, I've got to put this together.
And Taylor will be, just giving it all she's got for this last one. She's obviously got the capability there, and she's just going in for her final attempt there. Oh, and very, very close, but hopefully Taylor is very happy with her personal best there today. She has...
there's a wee smile there to the officials, and that's...
It's always great to see when people are still happy once they've finished the competition, and that is, I would say, her first medal, I think, at the New Zealand secondary schools. I may be wrong there, but that was my belief. And to get a medal and a personal best, you can't ask for much more.
No, that's absolutely. So it's now down to one of the real clashes of these championships, the 2 of our finest high jumpers at school level for some time.
We have Mia Diaga and Naomi Waite. Naomi actually has passed 169. So it will be interesting to see whether Mia also passes or jumps, but it looks like they are setting up the bar. So So it would be my understanding that Mia is going to take the attempt.
Well, she won the event last year with 180. And if we go back and have a wee look at the records for...
I believe it's 184.
Yeah, correct, yes.
Back in 1990.
So a wee while ago.
Definitely a wee while ago. It's a pretty high height to be jumping at that age. It would be amazing to see that record go.
Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, we chatted yesterday when we were on here with a number of the records going back. I think the oldest one goes back to Jeff Shaw in 1975. And 1975 for the 2,000 metre steeplechase, and for the senior girls high jump, Carmel Corbett. She was at Marshland College in 1990, so 184. We don't want to suggest that that's necessarily going to go today, but it's not an impossibility, is it?
Not an impossibility. It's always great to see records broken. And we have the first miss for Mia Diego there at 169. She's been jumping very comfortably at the other heights, so it's definitely within her range, and I know that she'll be hoping to get that on the next height.
All right, we're going to move very shortly to 100 metres heats, and there's a lot of them. The senior boys.
Just trying to find the heats.
In fact, on the screen, the 8 competitors in this first heat lining up. Ideal conditions. Very little wind, if any.
And we're underway with heat 1 of the senior boys 100 metres.
A pretty close race there. The second to fourth will come down to the photo finish there.
We've got the photo finish, and the judges also handing out result tags, but they're going to be very reliant on the photo finish. It looks like a winning time of 11.15.
Just popping back to the high jump quickly. There is a good clearance there from Mia Diego. Slight wobble of the bar, but she's got a lot of height over that as well.
So it was her second attempt, Kira, wasn't it? So, yes, right, and up on screen there we've got the result of the first of the 100 metre boys heats. 100 metres. Daniel Mandego of Te Papo Otea. Asher Lurgo, Northcote College, James Lowther and Cole Yeager. They all very close. And heat 2 just about to come up. So field of 7 for the second heat. With Francis Gillies. Christchurch Boys High School, Ethan Hole, Geraldine High School, Kane Carretera Tia of St Paul's College, James Savage from Palmerston North Boys, Luke Jarvis from Parapara College, Connor Tamihana of Shirley Boys High School, and Thomas Gowan of Morinoi High School. So 7 heats in total. So the and moving back to the high jump briefly. The bar at 172 and so on screen,
got 2 people missing from this race.
Let's go scratching.
And they have been called back to stand up in the starter.
Always hard to know what the reason for that is, isn't it? If we're not right down there, but could be a starter's wanting to do an adjustment, maybe a little bit of wanting to get the athletes to reposition themselves for whatever reason.
It didn't look like they'd gone up into set though, which is nerve-wracking after when you have to get told to go up, so it's probably the better time to do it. They're in their blocks for the second heat of the 100 metres for seniors.
Down on the inside of the track, Ethan Hole from Geraldine High School going through, always going to be caught. It looks like maybe James Savage outside him in the final few strides. Well, this is always quite nice, isn't it? A young athlete from Geraldine High School, provincial South Canterbury, stepping up and almost certainly going through to the next round. I think the first 2.
Well, so it was actually Luke Jarvis from Parapara College there who ran 11.08, which is season best for him, followed by Ethan Holt from Geraldine High School with 11.18 and Francis Gillies from Christchurch Boys High School with 11.54.
Right, and I see a PR there beside Ethan Holt from Geraldine High School, which is a personal record.
As well as Thomas Gowan, who was 4th from Whanganui, so he also received got a personal best.
Right, and we've got the results there on your screen. So the big queue goes beside the first 3. So they're going through to...
Just back to the high jump, and we had a clearance there from Mia Diego at 172, I believe.
Right, so this is becoming a really intense competition, isn't it?
And Naomi Waite has actually passed at 1.75 metre, so it is just currently Mia in the competition until Naomi comes back in.
So at the moment, Naomi has had 1 jump in this competition.
Yes, she's jumped 163.
That is exuding confidence, isn't it?
I am aware that Naomi has had a little bit of a slight niggle coming into this, and so she might just be wanting to, give every jump that she can, the best of all of her backing behind it, and it can be sometimes a bit hard if you're not 100%.
Back on the track, 100 metres, 3rd heat. Again, remembering the first 3 go through automatically. That's a Christchurch Boys High School uniform, wasn't it, at the front of the field?
Indeed. Very comfortable run there.
Those results will come up shortly for you. And the first 3 through, and then the others will rely on timing to make it through if you're not in the first 3.
Sasha Tahi from Christchurch Boys with 11.17 and Zacharias Zaragas from St. Pat's Silver Street with 11.37, and that was personal best for him. It's personal best for third and fourth as well, so as you can see on there, Cruz Marara from St Peter's School and Adam Rogner from Mount Albert Grammar. And so second, third and fourth all were personal best, which is great to see, and a +2 wind, so perfect wind.
A perfect wind indeed. Right, 2 metres per second, for record purposes anyway, is the limit. So.
And a mention there for Max Brown, who from Grammar, 1181, he got 6th with a personal best.
Right, so 175 in the high jump.
An attempt here from Mia Diego at 175. Not to be in that attempt. Unsure if that is her first or second attempt.
She raises the hands, which would probably suggest that she was acknowledging people around her, so that may well have been her second attempt, but we'll wait for confirmation. They're going through these 100-metre heats very quickly. Clearly, so we're back, this is heat 4.
Heat 4 out of 7.
Yep.
Which is 100 metres.
So on the boys, Regan Wilson looking the best of those, but Jonathan Thompson from Auckland Grammar just on his outside, I suppose we'd say. And the results again come up quite quickly, so we'll know very shortly. And here we are, just a rerun of that. Certainly different styles from the two lead athletes going through. One driving, I guess the other in pursuit, but moving with good fluency too. And here we go. Regan Wilson, 11.17.
Very close between first and second, with Jonathan Thompson 11.18 and Blake Dolgen from Taieri College 11.38. So most of the first and second seems to be around the 11.17, sort of 11.15.
Yep. And it looks as if about 11.50 may get you close to moving into the next round for those that don't make the top 3. So we'll wait and see just how that goes. What are we up to now? Is this the 5th heat is coming?
We have the 5th heat here. We have Leon Roger from Rathkill College in lane 2. We have no lane 1 for this heat. We have Edmund Ferro from John McGlashan College in lane 3. Lane 4, Finn Hawkins from Christchurch Boys High School. Lane 5, Imran Metha from King's College. Lane 6, Kyan Seymour. Lane 7, Bill Quigley. And lane 8, Alapati Tusa Saogia from St Peter's. A bit of nerves down there, especially for the boys in the final few heats. Just nervously waiting while being able to watch everyone. But hopefully excited nerves and not too scared.
Oh, it's a lot of swaying going on, really, isn't it? Just really anticipation, I guess it is, isn't it?
Been waiting a little bit longer compared to the last one for the starter, so we're away now.
Yep. The bounce, which has become really part and parcel, isn't it, of top sprinters as they go in preparation to slide down back into the blocks. Noah Lyles at the Olympics, I thought, was probably the best exponent of that.
The sprinters are very, very powerful, very springy people.
All right. Down on the inside, Lion Roger running strongly. Challenge coming on his inside from Edmund Ferro of John McGlashan College in Dunedin. Finn Hawkins of Christchurch Boys High School was there as well. So
field is
We'll wait to see if they're the three to automatically go through.
Zoe Muir from Menzies College, Mackenzie Boyer from Nui College, Sammy Hills from Waimaki High School.
Have we got a decision on the women's high jump yet, do you think, Keely? We
just while waiting for those results to come through, we've actually, Mia Diego had a miss, as we saw at her first attempt at 175, and she has decided to pass the remainder of that height, so my assumption is it would go up to 178 maybe, whatever the next height is. Seems like it. Oh, it might be 179 actually. Depends on which increments they go up. But for the boys senior 100 metres, we have Finn Hawkins who took that out with 11.25, Imran Metha with 11.26, and Leon Roger with 11.44 in third.
And we are presenting the junior girls long jump results. Helping us out with this is Sue Brogan, former regional secondary school director of Timaru. He has over 50 years involved in the
well, just looking at the high jump, it would appear that the competition has concluded.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It looked like they weren't sitting there. There were still some officials there, but they may have finished for the day. If that's the case, they may have both, for whatever reason, decided to complete the competition.
Right, senior boys preliminaries, heat 6. Oliver Barnett, ACG Strathallan College on the inside. You've seen the listed athletes there. Lined up behind them. That will be the final hit. So there's the big beeper goes, which indicates something unsatisfactory with the start. I didn't immediately see anybody break, which is always a challenging and fretful few moments for the athletes. And Keely's just been out to have a check on what's happened in the high jump.
So it appears that Mia has taken out the title. And Naomi has pulled out as well of the competition alongside Mia. So Mia is the winner for the senior girls, and it would look like Naomi is in second due to count back with Taylor Trow.
Right, so that's unfortunate for Naomi Waite, isn't it? Obviously only one jump in the competition, things were not quite right.
Yeah, and unfortunately sometimes that does happen. You know, you have the best intentions and to compete, but you know, you've got to listen to your body at the end of the day.
That's right, and a silver medal is not what you would have come down from Wellington girls to take away in terms, but it's pretty satisfactory nonetheless, isn't it?
Definitely, and I think the fact that she was able to do a jump out there today is a bit of a win for her.
So Mia Dijaga from Rototuna High School is the senior girls high jump champion for 2024, a repeat of her performance last year. And the last of the heats of the senior boys 100. Performance from the lead two, who were comfortably in front of the field. I guess the interest now for these athletes, that was 6 of 7, I think. Alright, so Alexia is out in lane 4, eventually taking the victory.
Looks like that was Ben Langford from Middleton Grange with 11.17 who took that out. Followed closely by Nathan Colpin from Sacred Heart College in Auckland with 11.21, who also got personal best.
Right, so the lead athletes, just running a little bit over 11 seconds, I think probably about 11.12 to 11.20 will get you comfortably, I think, to the next round. And in this case, when Clements of 11.63 goes through.
With a personal best as well. And a 0.2 wind, so that's a legal wind there. So there seems to be lots of personal best broken today. It's a very fast track, so it's great to see that that's playing in the athlete's favour.
Right, so this is going to be the last of the 7 heats of the senior boys 100 metres. A little bit of a handshake and acknowledgement between the athletes before they go to their starting positions. And lined up behind them we have the senior girls who will be dashing over 100 metres fairly shortly. A slightly reduced field on this occasion. 6 athletes, first 3 through, and then depending on time for the remainder of it.
So you can see that there's Lucas Lambert there in Paraparau College in lane, I think that maybe 3 or 4 in the green. Lambert is a well-known name. I competed with some Lamberts when I was competing for Paraparau Umu Track and Field Club when I was younger, so I wonder if it's a family member of those that I was competing with back in the day.
Attempting to make sure that whatever works in terms of standing on the start line, preparing a little bounce, a little bit of twisting, a little bit of checking. It's a little bit of a ritual, really, isn't it?
Everyone has their own little things that they like to do. Some people have little superstitious things that they have to do before they race or compete, and some people are just happy just turning up and getting to that start line.
Right, dispatched the last heat, and lanes 2 and 3, Lucas Lambert, Caden Taylor would appear to be, it was a fairly snappy performance.
Looks like Caden Taylor from Avondale College took that one out with a season's best of 10.69. Followed closely by Leo Youssef from Wellington College at 11.03. And Lucas Lambert from Paraparau College was third there with another automatic qualifier with 11.26.
Caden Taylor's performance is certainly the standout, I think, so far. 10.69. Impressive.
Looks like his personal best is 10.55, so he's pushing close to that, but he'll definitely be holding back a little bit in the qualifying so that he can push it a bit more in the semis and the final.
Did you get a muffin?
Next on the track,
and up next on the track, once the boys have commenced, is the girls' row meter, 100 metres, seniors, and there are 5 heats. So they're just all, you could see them before lining up behind the boys. A little bit of a smaller field, so we must have some people who have pulled out of this one. But in lane 2 there we have Scarlett Daly from Lincoln High School. Lane 3, Michaela Fitty from Nayland College. Lane 4, Greta Holland from Christchurch Girls High School. Lane 5, Trelise Forster from Burnside. Lane 6, Charlotte Goldsmith from St Cuthbert's College. And lane 7, Bao Zen Tan from Riccarton High School. Lots of Christchurch girls in this one. We've got 4 out of the 7 there. All Cantabs. As you can see behind the girls, it's a relatively beautiful day here. We have just a little bit of cloud there, but very, very minimal wind. We've had quite a lot of personal bests broken in the men's Aorangi, which is the boys 100 metres, and know that the girls will be looking to run just as speedily for them, with some personal bests hoping to be broken too. We're away with the first heat of the girls' low metre 100 metres. Looking pretty comfortable out the front there is, I believe, Charlotte Goldsmith.
Charlotte Goldsmith from St Cuthbert's College.
Looking very, very comfortable there. Has a personal best of 11.83. And looking in great shape for heading into the next round.
Thank you. Very fluent as she moves through the finish line. Times appearing on the board in front of you. We had 5 heats. A number of these girls competed in the heats of the 200 metres yesterday. It's a busy program for the sprinters. The top sprinters are going to be racing up to 6 times, aren't they?
Yes, if they do the heat, semis and finals, and then some of them will also do a relay, so they might even be doing more than that.
Appearing on the screen.
Underway now, second heat,
Georgia Gibbons from Queen's High School in Dunedin.
Slowing down there just in the last 10 metres or so. Looking very comfortable, knowing that, you know, she might save some energy for the semis and the finals.
Yes,
results
and daughter of Paul Gibbons, New Zealand pole vault record holder. And mum, Megan Merrily, so Megan Gibbons these days, obviously. But Georgia being a very well performed athlete in the Otago region, should be pretty happy with 12.21. Mella Thin from Timaru Girls High School. 54 goes through, as does Sienna Moore of St Kennedy's College. Well said. So not much happening in the field. The junior girls javelin is underway. long jump for senior boys not too far away at 11:30.
Just going into heat 3 of 5 for the girls 1 metre, 100 metres. We have Annie Love for lane 2 and lane 3, Caitlin Black, lane 4, Tika Randell, lane 5, Amponsa, Tavi Amponsa, lane 6, Samantha Lathwood, lane 7, Sahara Katina, and lane 8, Sienna Wright. And they are well underway.
The first 3 have sorted themselves out, competing well though. Right, so Tika Randall from Warrington College, 12:17. Personal best to Samantha Lathwood of Takapuna Grammar. Caitlin Black of Aquinas College. Here are the first 3 through the finish line. Season best in PRs. And this is probably not surprising. It's relatively early in the summer season, I guess, for a number of these athletes, but they have been preparing for this event for certainly the last couple of months, haven't they?
Yes, and this has been something. This will be something that their coaches are peaking them for, and then they will probably go back into a little bit of training for hopefully doing some of the competitions in the new year.
Must be the 4th heat coming up. So times sort of around the 12:20, 12.20 will get you through, and then we'll just have to wait and see. Somebody like Sienna Wright, who was 4th in that last heat, will go close, I think, in terms of being able to advance to the next round. That won't be determined until all 5 heats have been completed. Obviously, the start list has gone up for this event. And again, the geographical spread is always, I think, quite fascinating, isn't it? Tuawamutu, St Peter's, Auckland, Wollaston College outside Christchurch, Long Bay, Auckland, Waimati High School, very local, Glendowie up north, Wollaston College. 2 Wollaston College athletes competing in this one. Probably one of the growing schools in the Canterbury region.
Yes, definitely. It's getting a lot of people out in Wollaston, and the population is just growing and growing at the moment. This is heat 4 of the girls at Almeida, taking the blocks just at the moment.
And underway in our 14.
Leading early, but coming down, might have been Erica Lewis.
Looks like in lane 6 there, Erica Lucas from Waimaki High School to take it out.
So That'll be a very popular result from the South Cantabrians, which will make up a good part of the spectators here. Erica Lucas from Waimanti High School running 12.52. Cornelia Bentley of Long Bay College and Ian Innes of Rolleston College in third. Season's best for Erica Lewis.
And in lane 8 is Hunter Avery from Hadlock North High School.
Results appearing there on the screen.
And we're just about to go into the final heat of the girls' Romita, 100 metres. Those that will maybe eagerly awaiting to see whether they got in or not from previous heats will know after this one. We have lane 2, Millie Woodham, lane 3, Taylor Eastridge, lane 4, Mila Taylor, lane 5, Hannah Hickson, lane 6, Jackie Nasarabadi, lane 7, Brian Nicholson, and lane 8, Hunter Avery. So it looks like we may have a full, almost full heat in this one. And Hannah Hickson from John Paul College in lane 5. I'm pretty sure she's just come over from high jump.
Right. Yes, she was competing there earlier on.
A very quick turnaround to get to the call room for her.
And we are underway with heat 5 of the senior girls 100 metres. Looks like this one here might be a bit of a close one between Jackie Nasarabadi and Mila Taylor.
And, it's been well worth her while coming across because she's qualified quite comfortably, I think.
Very comfortably. The top 3 definitely easy to see who was progressing through. And the person who took that out was Jackie Nasarabi from Diocesan School with 12.42. The rest of the results should hopefully be loading up soon on the screen.
A rerun of the race, and you can see that in fact it changes a little bit in the last 30 metres. A pretty decisive win from Jackie Nasarabadi from Diocesan. And Hannah Hickson, who after the high jump has performed well on the track. First 2 results recorded on screen at the moment.
Asking for the junior girls to go to the call team at 100 metres. Junior girls 100 metres to the call team.
Mana kore ana tōre wha. Ei, pauri atu.
This isn't an ad about four-wheel drives. It's about knowing the place, as well as the locals.
You found the place?
That's a good start. Built by my great-grandfather 20 years ago.
I'm Jason Bill and we farm around the mid-north. We took a review of our business a couple of years ago, sort of identified challenges that we had. One was profitability, and we'd noticed on our steep hill country we're getting more and more erosion. We looked around to diversify, looked at forestry to plant on our steeper country. For us, it really addressed those concerns. By doing the forest farm model, we feel like we're getting the best of both worlds. And I'm really excited and I really do believe in this model. I think it's the way of the future.
Program for the morning session, and we're edging towards the end of that. Appears on the screen there, long jump senior boys are in 2 qualifying pools getting underway very shortly, and just after midday the 1500 metre heats. On the track, the juniors, boys and girls, going through their heats. But our focus, I think, Katie will be on the long jump.
High jump. Oh, long jump, sorry. Coming through. I can use all my knowledge that I've gained over the last little while doing more long jump. It's been a while since I did a proper long jump until more recently, where I did a little bit of multi-event training for a couple of months. So definitely did a few long jumps thrown in there, so been upskilling my knowledge.
What's your best long jump?
Oh, not amazing for my age, but it was around 570.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
that was when I was younger. I only got to about 530 off a 10 stride recently. I've only done it once in a competition now, so it would be fun to do a little bit. Do a few more competitions coming up.
Well, you're airborne on both the high jump and the long jump, aren't you? But it's very different.
Yeah, different, but some similarities. I think the key thing for me is sometimes when I long jump, I go a little bit too high. Right. So I have a little bit too much elevation, which can be a little bit detrimental because you kind of want to go forward as well as up, whereas I obviously have a bit more of a vertical emphasis, so it's definitely something to work on.
So you mentioned earlier the javelin. You have some respect for javelin throwers that you may not have had before?
Definitely. I have respect for all athletes, just prefacing that. However, I didn't realise how difficult javelin was until I got put through my paces with the coaches and other athletes and learning a new event. I hadn't really done pretty much any javelin before. I've done most other events but javelin, and the positions that you have to get your upper body into are very, very difficult, and so I have a newfound appreciation and respect for javelin throwers and how far that they can throw. So I don't think the general public realise how difficult it is to actually throw a javelin as far as people throw them. So it's very, very impressive.
Right. What did you get? Was your best distance?
For javelin?
Yes.
It was a high 28.
Oh, that's high 28. That's okay. I was going to suggest 30 metres would be extremely good. So that's your new challenge.
Yeah, I definitely would love to get a 30 metre, but I haven't actually done any over the last couple of weeks of any javelin. I've gone back to more high jump specific training, but I do sometimes just get out there and throw a little bit.
So the aspirations for this summer for you?
I really just want to enjoy myself. I've had a pretty tough few years of just getting just a lot of pressure from myself, more internal pressure and of my the goals that I wanted to achieve, and so I didn't get to Paris this year. Unfortunately, I was just outside of the qualification, and that was obviously a big goal for the last few years, this cycle, and so I just took a bit of time to debrief and figure out what I want, and the kind of outcome and goals that I wanted to take from the season is to really enjoy myself and kind of just jump for jump for joy and with a bit of freedom attached to it. And so I'm really excited. It's actually been probably my best training that I've had the last little while, so I'm really excited to see how that kind of comes together, and I would really love to go to World Champs if I can next year.
That's in Tokyo, isn't it?
It is indeed. And I know that's within my capabilities, but I'm just really trying not to put any pressure on myself, to just really enjoy the process, and hence why I was doing some of the other events, just to explore and really tap into why I love athletics in general.
I love that phrase, jump for joy. I think that sort of captures an intent that is really quite important, isn't it?
Definitely. And I've always loved jumping, but I think that I just put a little bit too much pressure on myself for a while, and to achieve really high. Obviously, when you're at a certain level, you want to keep striving for more and more, and I think I just got a little bit consumed by the whole process of it. So just really trying to hone in on the biggest why I'm doing what I'm doing.
All right, so lovely insights, thank you. Okay, so, and you indicated that we're going into, I guess, the Christmas break. Do you have a Christmas break?
Not really. I go home and I have some. I see my family and I have time with family, but I still train the whole way through. Last year I did take 4 days off actually. This year there'll be a couple of days, but other than that, you keep doing some training. But it's adapted training sometimes, depending on where you are.
Yep. And you indicated early January you'll be back down here in Timaru competing.
I believe so. That's the plan. I think I'll open my season in Timaru. It's a great track and good weather to try and fine tune and dust the cobwebs off, because I haven't high jumped in a competition since June, so it's been a little while.
All right, on screen we have long jump, and there are two qualifying pools, and the one that we're looking at the moment sees Aston Nugent of Christ College about to have his first jump. We clock at the side indicating. I commented earlier on the pristine sand preparation in the long jump effort. So
there's one particular official who I think is from Canterbury, and he always has perfect, immaculate pits, long jump pits. So he just loves to rake. I'm not sure if it is the official that's on the screen at the moment, but they do a very, very good job.
It's quite difficult too, isn't it? Have you ever done it digging around a long jump pit? To actually keep it even all of the time is quite a challenge.
Oh yes, it's not something that's a big skill of mine. I definitely just try and make sure that there's no holes in the pit, but to get it looking perfect is a skill. So Josh Rennis of Tauranga Boys just jumping there, and we're going to be seeing the performance recorded on the scoreboard on the picture to the right. So I believe that there's actually, in the senior boys long jump, there are 2 flights, so there are 2 pits going simultaneously. So we will try and go between both of them as we can. There is the live results on Athletics Athletics Net, I believe, if you are wanting to follow along as well.
Certainly over the last couple of seasons, that Athletics Live has been able to provide really right up-to-date results. And you can see there parallel pits, though. It's unusual really to have it that way. I think probably right beside each other. But
I think when they just have so many competitors, they have to get them all done at the same time. And obviously, it's a pretty jam-packed 3-day program here, and so they have a lot of athletes, and so they just need to get it all done. and you've got 2 pits, then you might as well utilise them. However, it could be a little bit difficult, you just need to make sure that you're not stepping into the other lane accidentally. That looked like a no jump there from Wian Hubert from Ashburton.
So even the athletes have got to watch where they're walking there. You can see on the runway.
Yes, definitely. And you don't want to accidentally fall out of the pit and land slightly on the other runway.
This is going to actually test the commentary team, really, isn't it? Operating between the 2 pits adjacent to each other. Junior boys sprinters in the background to this long jump competition.
Does appear that for the junior boys there was a false start.
That ringing sound that comes across to indicate that something is not as they would want it. Right, I guess if we call it pits 1 and 2.
Benji Fairclough from Mount Albert Grammar, that just had a jump in pit 2.
In fact, it's quite a crowded area at the moment. We've got 100 metre sprints on the track to the left, and then we've got 2 long jumps taking place. I'm just watching Benji Fairclough going back. He has to go back on the far side to not interfere with proceedings. So it is a congested area at the moment.
Very congested. The officials will be kept on their toes with making sure the athletes are where they're meant to be.
So that was Riley Wilson from Paraparaumu College. You've obviously had associations with Paraparaumu down the years?
Yes, indeed. I did actually attend Kapiti College, which is a rival school of Paraparaumu for a little while. But I was part of a Paraparaumu track and field club for majority of my youth years. This is Lucas Lambert from Paraparaumu College. He just completed the 100 metres as well. Unfortunately, just at the moment, we don't quite have the distances. We've got a few distances for Flight 2. So we have Cody McPhail with 5:24 from Te Paipai or Aotea College. He is leading. And then Leon Roger with 5. Oh, sorry, this is out of order. It appears that Leon Rogers with 5:78 is leading from Rathkill College in Flight 2. And that was just Asher Robinson from Hutt International Boys in Flight 1 with a jump there. Our apologies if we have a couple of mix-ups. We do have many boys jumping. So in flight 1 there, that was Benaya Sue from Western Springs. That was my college that I went to when I was in Auckland.
Right, and on the what is on your left, Liam O'Ward-Lawler from South Otago High School. Regularly competing at the Caledonian track at Logan Park in Dunedin. So he features strongly there on a regular basis.
So at the same time as the 2 long jump pits going, we have the boys 100 metres juniors, the girls javelin throw juniors, and the boys shot juniors in the para multi-class.
And Flynn Clements of Sacred Heart in Auckland. You can see him just stepping away from the pit there now. Winding his way back through the range of officials that are required for the long jump.
And on the right hand side we just had, I believe, Ollie Davis from Central Southland College with his first jump there.
Nathan Colpin from Sacred Heart in Auckland on the left of the screen.
And on the right hand side on the runway we've got Kerr Botha from St. Pat Silverstream. That was a no jump for him.
You can see occasionally you'll pick up the performance there, the Nathan Colpin's jump of 5.79. Anything in close to the 6 metre mark will be well received, I'm sure, by athletes. Wills.
It appears we've already got a few personal bests. 2 so far out of both flights, long jump flights, which is awesome to see. It's always great to see people just popping out some big ones, and what better weather and place and track for it than good old Timaru at the moment.
Daniel Mandingo clearing there. Also we've got representation from Te Papai Aotea. 419. Ty Gonzalez from Albert Grimmer down the runway and leaping as we speak. But the red flag would indicate foot over the mark. Been some discussion recently at international level about the idea of removing the board as a single measuring device, measurement point, and using a sort of platform to jump from.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see whether they do go ahead and end up implementing something like that. I do think that if they did that, then there would be an increase in people's performances, because we know that in most events, you know, that if you jump 30 centimetres behind the board and still have it, that's where you still get a personal best, then obviously you're capable of a lot more. I don't know many people that are in favour of it, purely because taking off from a board adds an additional skill element. However, it will be interesting to see, and some people are obviously for that idea.
Yes, it does. It changes the nature of the event quite dramatically, doesn't it?
Definitely. It removes quite a key part of, well, what has traditionally been a key part of long jumping, which is taking off and behind a board or on the board as much as you can without being over. So we are back. We are now in the second round on the right hand side there with Ashton Nijar from Christ College.
That's right, and he was behind the board, so that was good.
Yes, indeed.
He should ideally be on the board, I guess. He was behind the overstep mark. The plasticine it used to be, it's become a little bit more sophisticated at international level these days. They can measure it electronically, can't they?
I think for most events they can do electronic measurements. You might see in some of the field events there's little cars that go and retrieve stuff, retrieve the javelins as well, and then you've got the electronic measuring for majority of events, which in those situations is very accurate and also just removes, you know, if a javelin's been thrown 90 metres, becomes a little bit, using a tape measure becomes a little bit harder to get it accurate.
So they're dashing down the runway. There we have Cody Fail. His performance is recorded at 5:24. So you can see two athletes running sort of parallel to each other. They're just about to compete. Right. First of those from Rathgill College, in Lion Roger, I think. 5.64 was Bowden of Rangitoto College. Debbie please, 6.14. It's one of the better jumps so far in the competition.
We currently have in flight 2 two athletes that have got over 6 metres. We've got Leon Rogers, as we just saw, 6.14, and then Jamie Puha from Kashmir High School with 6.02. Unfortunately, we do not have currently the Flight 1 live results, so we will update you once we have those. But we are at least able to see them in action.
Alan Jabber of Ashburton College showing great speed on the runway.
And Ethan Hole on the in front from Geraldine High School there.
Yes, we saw him sprinting earlier in the day.
Long jumpers, long jumpers are pretty fast, so most of them, or a lot of them, will be doing some form of short sprint as well, whether it's 100, 200 or hurdles.
Ruben Wheeler awaits on the left-hand side. 9.27. Regan Kwan, Wellington College on the other side.
This is Ruben Wheeler from Roncalli College.
Right, so he hasn't had to travel far. Roncalli College, the Timaru.
Imagine that a lot of the coaches that we were talking about that congregate around the high jump will have now congregated around the long jump. It's one of the other events that they love. That was Benji Fairclough from Mount Albert Grammar. Mount Albert Grammar, a strong sporting school in Auckland.
Yes, I would imagine they're well represented at these championships in terms of numbers that have travelled south. Riley Wilson jumping there on the left-hand side from Murirai College.
For those that may have just joined in, Pitt's going for the senior boys kairere, which is long jump, and it's a bit difficult to try and figure out who's doing what, but we're only getting at this stage one set of live results through. So we have on the left-hand side flight 2, that is Lucas Lambert from Paraparaumu College, and flight 1 is the Pitt on the right-hand side. Looks like he ran through on that one, mustn't have been happy about where he would have been positioned for takeoff, and so he's just decided to run through, which is a foul for his second attempt. Often people will run through if they're either they feel that they're going to be way too far away or way too close to the, way too far over or far away from the takeoff mark.
Liam Boyden-Loyler. He's protecting himself from the sun, wearing his hat. From South Otago High School.
And hopefully it doesn't come off, because if it comes off and lands behind him after he lands, then they'll have to take the measurement from that point.
Right, so it's well, the hat didn't help really, because it's his performance was not as good as his first round jump. So.
You'd think that having a hat on might actually be a little bit of an inhibitor, gives you a little bit more resistance along the runway.
On the left-hand side, it's Flynn Clements.
And we have Benaya Sue on the right-hand side, who we just saw jump just prior to Finn.
Nathan Colton, we've seen jumping earlier from Sacred Heart College in Auckland. Just going through his little routine of preparation to...
This is Adam Leese from Westlake on the right-hand side.
And we can see there, just as he came out of the pit, he became quite conscious all of a sudden that he was almost onto the runway of Nathan Colton, who was about to jump.
And you've got 32 people in a small space down there. There's 32 athletes over the two pits. Makes it a bit hard, and they just have to, they're going to have to be very mindful of where they walk once they get out of the pit, which sometimes can be quite difficult because you just kind of like land and get up, and you're just focusing on your jump. So just adds an extra element that they have to be aware of. There's Ollie Davis there from Central Southland College. And Elliot Willis here with a best in his first round of 583, and I can imagine that he pulled out of that jump a little bit, so that probably won't be quite as long as the first one.
No, that's always a bit of a frustration. He knows that effectively it's a no jump for him, but it'll go down on the record book as something quite short, and it does. There we are, 463. Well, he's not a 463 jump forever. It's just that he hasn't quite managed to get the rhythm and the jump that he wanted, but they do still record it. I guess the only way to stop that is to walk backwards over it.
Yeah, if you walk the whole way through the pit back again, then it can be a no jump.
Alright, that was Ty Gonzalez from Red Albert jumping. He's got a season's best of 6:25.
And on the right there, we just had Kerr Botha from St. Pat's Silverstream, just completing a jump.
So Ty has a foul in the first round, so he'll be very keen to make sure that he gets something recorded on this occasion. It's not up with his best jumps, but it's really important, isn't it, in this? With only 3 preliminary jumps, that you get something recorded that's going to at least give you the opportunity to advance. Curious what it's
Yes, indeed, and as I mentioned, there's 32 athletes competing here, and that will be narrowed down to 8, I believe. So there's, every jump counts in these first rounds. So they all get 3 attempts, and then the top 8 will get a further 3 attempts.
So that's Kashmir High School's Jamie Puho, who's obviously in conversation with either coach or family at the end of his second jump, and that's he's shown good consistency, 6:02, 5:99. So we've talked that 6 metres looks like a distance that would give you the opportunity to advance. No certainty in that yet.
It's Daniel Mandigo from Te Paipai o Aotearoa. And as we spoke about, for those that were tuned in for the high jump, I was mentioning that it is quite a fast track Mondo. It's a newly laid Mondo track, and so it's quite speedy. We've had lots of personal bests for the 100 metres, and I was saying that for the women's tupeke, women's high jump, we had there would have been some of the athletes having to change a lot of their whakatata, their run-ups, and I can imagine for the long jumpers that would be the same as well. And we've seen a few fouls, and that could be due to a few people pulling out. due to, you know, either feeling too fast and it's kind of thrown where their run-up's meant to be. So no doubt that they'll be speaking to their coaches. As you can see, there's a lot of people along that side. There are a lot of athletes to go over and talk to and get guidance from the people that are supporting them today.
And then 5, High School. And then 6, from Ireland. And then 7, from High School. And then 8, from Dunstan High School.
We just got Aston Nija from Christ College there, so this must be the start of the third round. And unfortunately we still don't have any live results, so apologies for that for the Flight 1 anyway. We do have live results for Flight 2. And they are just about due to start their their third round also. So we have Cody McPhail from Te Paipai or Aotea, who is on the runway for his third attempt there.
Roger.
Sorry, that was Lion, not Cody. Cody must have just finished up. Lion is currently leading the Flight 2 with a best of 6:14, as you can see on the screen there. So we'll wait and see if this attempt is any further than that or not. Not quite, it was 580, so a little bit lower than what his first attempt was.
261, it's in a hole on the left the runway. The European athlete that's made it through the heats of the 100 earlier today.
A few stutters there just on the last few strides for Ethan coming in. Ideally with a long jump run up we have kind of consistent strides the whole way through, just until the last maybe two strides where it becomes just a little bit faster. And so with some stutters it can often indicate that there's something not quite right with the whakatata, the run up.
Yes, the ideal is not to look at the board, isn't it?
Yes, you don't want to be looking down when you take off, ideally.
That was Ruben Wheeler on the left hand side there. Ruben from Cardiff College. And on the other side there, Juan Jabeur of Ashburton College, a couple of relative locals. Ashburton named Timaru.
Not too far to go for close.
Very rapid movement through is Benji Faithclough of Mount Algarama completes. See mags on their singlet, well known to Aucklanders in terms of school identification.
At the moment, Ryan Roger from Westfield College has jumped at 7 metres 14.
Rural College coming down the
High School, 6 metres 82. And Elliot Wills from Paipai or Aotea, 5 metres 83. Designation full-time from Texas at Solidarity, 5 metres 79. They're completed 3 rounds, in their third round for senior boys on that.
Lucas Lambert there from Paraparauga College on the left. And Harry Williamson for Christchurch Boys High on the right. It looks like they were both able to get a tawhitia mark and no fouls, which is great to see. Next up we have Liam O'Rourke, lawyer.
Hasn't abandoned the hat yet.
No, hasn't quite. Keeping up the sun smart. And on the right there, Lockie Kennedy from St. Pat's. There was a foul for Liam on the left, but a jump for Lockie on the right.
Flynn Clements on the left side.
I don't think I've ever seen Aorangi Stadium so full. It's great.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Great to see the turnout of supporters and athletes coming to, you know, the Pinnacle Pinnacle schools events.
That was Asher Robinson in the right-hand runway. It is. It's a big occasion, really, isn't it? Over 1,000 athletes, just short of 200 schools represented.
It's great, and you know most of athletics, most of seniors have done schools and started doing exactly what these young athletes in Rangatahi are doing here today, which is amazing to see. Hopefully sparking and igniting a love for the sport.
Indeed. Nathan Colpin there got a red flag and a wee nod to the I think probably the coach or the parent at the side. And that's coaches and parents and wider family coming to these events is quite important.
Looks like just on the right hand side, Benaya Sue got a clear mark there. And Elliot Willis just doing his third attempt. So at the end of this round they will take a little break, and then the officials will get together and figure out who's going to be getting the final 3 attempts.
Yes. Wee bit of sorting to do there, isn't it, really? They'll have the same information as we've got on screen with Athletics Live, but they'll have to double check stuff just to see that they get the final competitive number. I presume it's 8, although it could be 12, couldn't it?
I was thinking that before. I did specify 8. It could be 12 as well. I'm not 100% sure of that. It definitely will be at least 8, maximum 12. If it's 12, there's probably someone going, oh, it's definitely 12.
We'll do a little bit of a scan of the competitor information and find out from the officials whether in fact 12 would be fair, I think, in terms of the number there, but 8 is the most likely.
Well, normally for a competition of this sort of size, you would have, this would be the qualifying round.
Yes.
Whereas this, I believe, is the finals, and so they would normally have a qualifying and then it would be top 12 that go through to the final. However, they're just doing it kind of all in one go.
We're jumping there, and on the other side it was Kiaboto, I think. Right, it's all action here, Keely, isn't it?
It is.
We're in the middle of trying to decide who makes it through to the finals. The top 8 or 12, we'll work that out shortly. And we've got 1500 metre events about to step onto the track. These athletes appeared in the 3,000 metres last evening. And number 4, Bo Ritchie, is a name that's been moving around in athletic circles over the last little while. She has emerged as a young middle distance talent, running in this heat. She won't overcommit herself, will she? In a 1,500 metre heat, she'll want to do enough to make sure that she makes it through to the next round, or to the final, I think, in this case.
The distance running is definitely an area of mine that is not a strength, so hopefully we'll be relying on you for some support for that, as that's not something that I love watching, but in terms of tactics, looks like there actually was a false start in that there, so hopefully we get a green card popping up soon. Hopefully we're not getting any red cards.
Can you have a false start in the 1,500?
I don't think so.
I'm sure.
So. Oh, there we go. Green card.
Daniel Mandengu of Te Aotearoa was jumping just before, and 1,500 metres girls first heat underway. It's always interesting. A very fast clip for the first 50 or 60 metres, and then it really depends on who decides that they want to make something of a race of it. And the tempo looks good at this stage, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
No, it's eased a little bit now.
Went out a little bit faster and has pulled back slightly.
The initial leader coming around into the home straight for the first time.
And they appear to be they're all pretty bunched together. So it'll be interesting to see when someone decides to make a bit of a break, at what stage. Looking very comfortable as they come around the northern end. They still do have a few laps to go though, and they'll be wanting the ones who are aiming to get through will be wanting to, conserve a little bit of energy. It is getting quite warm out there now.
That's right. The field's still bunched. It's really normally a good indication of the tempo, which is steady rather than fast, and you'd expect that on a 1,500 metre heat. Most of the field are still able to keep with the pace of the leaders at the moment.
Slightly getting a little bit less bunched there, so the top few are just pulling out just a little bit more. And for those just tuning in, we have currently the preliminary round, so heat 1 out of 2 for the Te Kaumari Maromita, 1,500 metres.
Bryn Gordon leading the field. She's got a 2 metre lead, but being tracked by a group of certainly 8 or 9 that are still clearly in contention. So coming around to complete their second lap in a steady pace, 2:36.
It always impresses me, people running more than 400 metres. And also those that are running are sprinting, any distance. But I do, 400 metres for a warm-up, and that's kind of enough for me. So we've still got Bryn Gordon of Kashmir High School, who is leading at the moment, leading the pack. But on the outside coming through, we have Sasha Letitia from Takapuna Grammar. She's right on her shoulder.
Yep, and looking around.
like Sasha Whitaker from Secretary is sitting right there. Scarlett Robb is running followed by the
Scarlett Robb, who ran impressively over 3,000 last evening. So
it appears Scarlett was meant to be in Heat 2, so maybe they've combined. I'm not 100% sure there because it looks like she was meant to be in Heat 2.
So the pace has gone on now all of a sudden with just over 300 to go. They come down to the 200 metre mark, and there are still 7 really in contention. Bryn Gordon, who's
been leading
the way. It's determined to make it through to the next round. Sasha
just coming up to the metre, so 100 metres to
Letica
go.
on the outside, and
definitely starting to push.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people coming in all together.
Looking around just to see where, in fact, going to, certainly I think the lead 5. It's going to be very interesting to see who makes that through from the 2 heats. But they will try, obviously, to have a large qualifying number go through.
I believe it's top 7 from each heat, so I think that most of those girls who were in that front bunch are safe. I have a feeling it was 7 of them, so they did a good job of setting themselves up to go through to the final.
Yep, it's a matter of doing a bit of quick counting, isn't it?
A few tired girls there at the moment, finishing up their 1,500 metres. Tiko Mari Maro Mita, 1,500 metres. So it appears that Sasha Letitia from Takapuna Grammar took that out with 4:45.09. But as we could see before, that the top 7 were all in very close contention and should all get through to the final.
Just see the names going up on the board as for Athletics Live and our whakata Māori scoreboard indicates Bo Ritchie untroubled to go through. And we'll see very shortly the remainder getting the big Q beside their name, which is what you want, not the small Q, which would indicate that you've probably still got to wait and see if you make it through in addition. You can see from the time there, 4:45, that they were actually spread right across the track. I mean, the first 5 all within inside 0.2 of a second.
And the fact that they haven't put up the remaining couple of times just yet of WAS may be that it was a bit too close for them to figure out, so it's just taking them a little bit longer to figure out who came first.
Oh, there we are this time. The lucky 7. And Al Egan will have to wait and see.
And Asha Edwards from Takapuna Grammar, who got through with 4:45.29, ran a personal best. You can see the Heat 2 in the background there behind the hammer cage, eagerly waiting the start of their race. And just on the screen at the moment is the start list for the senior girls. Te Kaumarima Mita, 1500 metres. Sophie Webber, Madison Owen, Jessie McKenzie, Lulu Davis, Poppy Healy, Leticia, sorry I have to go back to my list now that's gone off there, Nina Chalmers, Kate Robinson, that's all good, right. Holly Fawcett and Kate Curry. Sorry about that delay, I got a bit ahead of myself. A little bit more wind picking up in the background, you can see there.
Just a little bit of tents blowing a little bit. I guess it is the breeze out there. We look at the flags out there on the ground as we're just sitting adjacent to the start-finish line, and the breeze has picked up, and I think we might be getting a bit more than 2 metres per second as a tailwind in the course of the afternoon.
Not so great for some of the Kaikōkiri, the sprinters. However, for the long distance runners, it's not so much of a biggie as they don't have any wind ratings.
Right, so the second heat, senior girls, 1500 metres. Really within the first 50 metres, they've slowed it right down. And again, this is going to be quite tactical. In fact, what happens is we just saw there just a little bit of tripping. You bang into the leg of the athlete in front of you when you're going at that speed. It's not a natural speed. It's a race, but they're really only moving at a jogging pace at the moment. You'd still call that a jogging pace, wouldn't you?
Definitely. And the same with the previous race, they'd be wanting to conserve a little bit of energy because they'll have to redo this whole event if they get through to the final tomorrow. So ideally you're not going out too hard so that you're getting too tired for tomorrow's final.
They can do 300 metres. We'll pick up a time when they go past the start line, which is at the top. I suppose we could say at the top of the back straight, and they're coming round to that right now. We'll see a mark across the track that starts at 1500 metres, and it's behind the cage there now. Yeah, 126, that's, I wouldn't say pedestrian, but it's certainly not a pace that's going to be troubling very anybody in this field at the moment. And shows no sign of quickening either, does it?
Similar to the last field, they also didn't show any signs of quickening just for a little bit. This is probably slightly slower than that race.
Yeah, it's always interesting what people are thinking, and as they go, the lead athlete will be saying, "Well, I'm not going to push it," and the one that's tucked in behind say, "Well, I'm not prepared to take the lead," and we'll just have to wait and see.
And since there's only there's 7 that are going through, there's quite a large number of athletes that will be going through to the final. So, nobody will be wanting to push it too hard, because so long as you stay within the majority, you should be okay.
Poppy Healy is going on there, and Nina Chambers having a quick glance across, just keeping a check on who's around, and they'll know each other pretty well, I think, a number of these athletes, so they will be just tactically thinking their way through. They're coming round to complete 800 metres. So you see the cage there, right about now, 2:51. So that's not quick at all. So it's going to come down to, you'll see that the field will, when they come around to the home straight for the next time, there'll be a little bit more pressure going on. Somebody will make a decision that they'd like to make sure they go through, so they're prepared to go from further out.
Coming around about here to the Valley.
500 metres to go. They're just coming up to the final lap of their race.
Yep, and Nina Chambers from Aorangi College. She was checking to see what was going on and said, well, okay, let's go down the home, so let's lift that tempo a bit, and all of a sudden what was a bunch group is now running almost an Indian file.
So Nina Chambers from Canada, executive office leaders from Timaru College and taxpayers from Forestry Field.
So Nina Chambers, I think, in fact, the lead two is just stretched out quite nicely there now. Nice over the shoulder at the 200 metre mark. So it was first 5, I think, Kelly, automatic qualifiers.
On my screen it says first 7. So
first 7, so, all right, so...
first 7 plus the next best time, so 15.
3 and 4 or 7. So we've got the first 7 already in camera already, haven't we?
At this stage, as they're coming in the final straight.
763 getting a wee chase just to see if they can make it through. First 4 easing their way through. 5, 6 and 7. Always continue to be amused by athletes who still stop their watch when they finish. It's as if they don't trust the automatic time or what it is. I guess it gives them an immediacy. I've done, so it's a feature of distance runners that there's always somebody on the field who's actually just taking their own individual time.
Isn't it a saying, if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen? I don't know if that's actually what they're doing, if it's connecting to anything, but or whether it's just for their own personal interest. But that's my naivety around long distance events.
Well, I think it's just individual. Here we are, the final stages of this race. All right, they got down to almost a walk across the finish line, knowing that they had made it through. No point in expending energy when we've got a final tomorrow. And there's the results. Poppy Healy was the one who crossed the line first. Nina Chambers, Jessie McKenzie, they're the first 3 to go through, and we've got another 4 to come up in just a moment to jump. And I think 4:45 was the time for the first heat, so this heat was much slower indeed. But they won't be worried too much about that. No prizes given away in the heat, so.
Next up on the track, we have got 3 boys, 1,500 metres. The correction there to the long jump results at this stage. We're into the 4th round and compile both fights together. Ollie Davis.
So we've got the 7 qualified who automatically go through to that final. So that's 14. I suspect there may be another 4 to go through the final. And we move fairly shortly, in fact almost immediately, to the boys' 1,500 metre heats. Senior boys.
They're quickly underway.
Yes, no hesitation there, was there?
As the start list disappears, we'll be able to see, there we go, the race beginning. They've started off a bit quicker than the girls, as we can see.
This will be one of the most fiercely contested events, I think, probably in the senior boys distance championships.
Jack Lomas from Tauranga Boys College, George Lewis from Hacklockmore High School, Victor Van Haven from Mathematical.
Justin Cunningham of Freiburg High School was the early leader, but after 300 metres the pace has dropped again a little bit.
He's followed closely by Fletcher Van Hooven from Matamata.
Hamish Murray from Bonus College there was spotting a little bit back. And they went through the, haven't got the time flashed up on this occasion, but my guess is that just over 70 seconds.
51% of the world record.
We'll pick up the 800 metre time, which will give us a little bit of a picture. Straightforward this time, isn't it? I guess it may have been the same in the girls. 15 advanced to the final, the top 5 in each heat, but no best times beyond that. So you've really got to make sure you're in the top 5.
Definitely makes these heats just a little bit more, a little competitive. You've got 3 of them to be a bit tactical about where you're placing and sitting.
Right, they're coming around to the 800 metres to be completed about now. I'm just looking at the clock, 2:18, so it's not fast for these athletes. 69, and you can see the way in which they're bunched up there. What have we got? 2, 4, about 9 athletes that are still there in contention with 600 metres to run.
We've got Robert Fitzpatrick, who's just leading at the moment from Auckland Grammar, looking pretty comfortable with a few of the other boys just behind.
Fletcher Van Housen now. The pressure will go on from now. He moved to the front. Now all of a sudden, what was a pack of Aorangi has reduced significantly. And if it's the first 5, have we got 5 there? We've got 6 there. So yep, the pressure is on.
Aorangi, 200 metres to go. There's 6 there. Oh no, we've dropped down to 5.
We've dropped down to 5, and they'll know that. Once they've straightened up into the home straight, they'll do a little bit of checking and just we glance to the left, glance to the right, and just knowing just how much is required to go through.
So that's Hamish Murray from Aquinas College. Yep. He's comfortably through, and that's the top 5 that we just seen go over the line there. So they'll all be through to the final.
Right, so that's the first heat of 3. And here we are down the home straight again. Hamish Murray stretching out very comfortably. It's a little bit of a morale boost to say I won my heat, I won it in style. It'll give a good feeling. Athletes just checking in as they complete. So there's results going up on the screen there at the moment. Hamish Murray, comfortable victor from Aquinas College, ahead of Robert Fitzpatrick, Auckland Grammar School, Jake Lomas of the Tauranga Boys. They're the first 2, 3. Another 2 qualifiers will appear shortly. And athletes who feel a little bit disappointed just not to be able to go through to tomorrow's final.
Still haven't quite got the remaining times up yet for those that will be going through to the final in the boys senior Te Kaumari Maro metre 1500 metres prelim.
The long jump continues, and Katie's having a little look on, I guess, on Athletics Live just to see what's coming up in terms of performances here. Jumps of over 6 metres, evident.
Looks like Lion Roger from Rathkill College has got a personal best of 6:71 and maybe leading. Unfortunately, I can't see some of the other competitors who were in Flight 1 initially. I think that they are not showing on my live results. I can only see 2 competitors from Flight 2. So we will update you once we have confirmation of that.
Second heat of the senior boys 1500 metres. Start list leading 1 to 9 and 10 to 14. So 14 athletes lined up for this second heat. Just waiting to be called up to their marks. In the long jump, they're still running with the 2 runways. That makes it interesting.
Not quite sure what's going on with the long jump at this stage, but this is the second heat here of the boys Te Kaumari Maro metre, 1500 metres, which has just started. So we've got 5 out of the 14 who are wanting to get through to the final. That will be their main outcome, main goal. And this looks just a tiny bit slower than the previous heat from my observations.
You're right. Jones out in front of this field. Number 827 George Wiley of Timaru Boys is there as well, and he's actually lifting the tempo a little bit as they come down to complete the first 300 metres. Yeah, the tempo has actually lifted a little bit as they come round to complete the first lap, but it hasn't been quick, but it's all of a sudden quickened as they went through in about 72, 73, which is not quick, but the tempo has lifted. And the middle distance athletes will know what in fact their strengths are to sit and sprint, or in fact if you're more of an endurance athlete, you're going to make sure that you take some of the sting out of those who are sit sprinters. So Oliver Jones, Wanganui Collegiate leading, and he's just conceded that leadership to George Wiley. These two have been out in front right from the outset. The rest of them have a look around. They've got 2 laps to run.
Looks like Oliver Jones, who was leading, has just been boxed in just a little bit there and has pushed, moved back slightly.
So it's James Elwood, does it make it 6.715? Through 226, through 800 metres. So we're going to have quite a fast final 600 metres as they come down to that mark now. And oopsie-daisy, here we go. Yep. Right, 600 metres out, I'm going to go for it. So that decision has been made by our race leader.
And the boys coming around about the dialect, and the second prelim of the
number 48. Caleb Wagner of Auckland Grammar. He's decided that I need to make sure that I get through in the top 5, and my best bet is to go with 600 metres and to go and finish on as strongly as I can. And that's been a decision that split this field up. There are in fact probably 6 in contention, maybe 5 now. It's a little bit of a challenge for the 6th place getter at the moment to get back onto the back of those athletes. It can't be ruled out, but it's been a move that's made a big difference.
He's managing to hold the lead and coming into the final low metre of the race.
Yep.
Final 100 metres.
And looks like Caleb Wagner from Auckland Grammar, George Wiley, Tauranga boys.
They're all having a bit oops-a-daisy. Here we are again.
It was George Wiley who's just been looking around and kind of like, I'm safe, I don't need to push it.
Caleb Wagner just clicked his watch just so that he'll be able to show somebody that he's run under 4:20. Anyway, that's the second heat complete.
I gotta get out of there, but I was gonna go just as you said though. I told the reading very wide. I'll take it and then you went. I gotta get out of there.
And then the long jump in the boys were in the last round, and then cut most in the finish. At the moment, Ollie Davies from Central Southern College, 6 metres 97. Lauren Roger from Westfield.
Caleb Wagner there taking up the second heat there, managing to remain in the lead for the final 600 metres of that race. Gave it a pretty good kick.
He did.
Got to 600 metres.
Yep, he decided, look, I don't want to be mucking around on this. I want to be absolutely sure of going through. He obviously felt that he had both the strength and certainty to do that. And as a result, appearing on the screen now. The leading 5 athletes who have qualified go through there. Caleb Wagner from Auckland Grammar, James Webber from Wakatipu High School, Reid Scampion of King's College, George Wiley of Tauranga Boys, and Callum Was of St Patrick's Silverstream. So they're into the final, and one more heat to go.
So we're just showing the long jump runway there. I believe that they have concluded that, and it looks like Ollie Davis jumped 697 to take out the senior men's long jump. Sorry, it's just showing at the moment on the screen 9 through to 16th place. And then we go up until 20th place. And there we go. We have the winner of the senior boys long jump there. Is Ollie Davis from Central Southland College with 6.97. And in second place was Leon Roger with 6.71 and Asher Robertson with 6.56. And both Leon and Asher, so second and third place, got personal bests. So that's a great job from them. And awesome job from Ollie. And we're just going back to the final heat of the boys to Timaru meter. And they're going out definitely faster than the second heat there. We've seen in some of the other races that there's been quite a lot of bunching at the beginning. There's still a little bit here. They are slightly spread out. And it looks like it is Wilson Lee from St. Patrick's College that is currently taking the lead. Obviously there's still quite a bit of the race to go, and so there may be some changes in the standings. We saw a lot in the last heat, and that those that were in the front switched positions quite quickly, so I'm assuming that this may be the same. And we've got the high jumper myself, who's been left to her own devices for the 1500 metres, so apologies for my lack of insight into some of the long distance races. But it looks like that they have kind of come back together and bunched up a little bit more. And we've still got Lee Wilson with Jack Sneeden. Oh, he's just taken over. They're just coming down now, and they still have 2 more laps to go. So they've gone through in 1:58. 700. The top 5 from this heat are going through into the final. We've already got 10 who have advanced in the previous heats. And at this stage, it's those 5 that are currently on the screen. They seem to have pulled away a little bit from the rest of the field. Jack Sneeden still leading at this stage from St. Peter's in Auckland. Followed very closely from Max Wildboar from Napier Boys High School. There's a bit of a gap as they're coming down the front straight from the rest of the field, going into the final lap. They've got a bit of pace coming through at the moment, but still looking quite comfortable from those that have just gone through the bell. About 300 to go for these top 5. Just coming through to the final Ruaroa meter, 200 metres. Just trying to catch who that is at the front there. I think that's Jagun. Oh, sorry, apologies for the pronunciation. Gongri Jav Willers from St. Pat's, who has taken over the lead. And he's looking over his shoulder at the moment, knowing quite well that all of them actually are now looking over, knowing that they have comfortably got through so long as they can get over the line before the others, which it appears that would be the case.
Well, the pace was on a little bit more on that race than the previous one, so they were able to kick clear really and make it home the last lap quite easily.
Much faster than the previous one.
You're showing some expertise in understanding 1500 metres, Kelly.
I wish I knew more about tactics, though. I don't really know much about the tactics of a long distance race. I would be just a complete one. I'd be pretty stoked to do so. I think I'd just have to run one consistent speed the whole time and not go out too strong.
That's quite wise, probably. Yeah.
I went on a run actually in my off season, and my partner said to me, he's a runner, he said, just make sure you don't go out too fast, and so just pretend as though you're going for a warm-up jog. And so that was good advice, because I managed to survive 4K.
I mean, that is very good advice probably for anybody going out doing a run, and particularly if you're starting off doing that. Quite often people just go too quickly early, and that pays. You pay for that later on, I think, and if you can work into it quietly, it's good judgment.
Definitely, but obviously slightly different from a race tactic. So these young men would have all come in with their own wee tactics that their coaches have discussed with them.
And 4 of the 5 qualifiers appear on the screen. In fact, there we are. We've got all 5 who will be making it through to tomorrow's final, which will be a lot quicker than the preliminary heats. So we have the 1500 metres completed. The morning program, although we're now into the afternoon, is drawing to a close. Long jump, glancing down, I think we've completed that, Kelly, haven't we? And in addition to that, the 1500 metres heats are done. And we look at the afternoon program getting underway at 1:30. So for the moment, we step away from our coverage here at the Aorangi track in Timaru, South Canterbury, and the weather still remaining pleasantly warm, increasing breeze, but a good afternoon's competition in store.
And the last event on the track is for our